Tonight, we check out this week's flight sim news with thanks to SayIntentions. We preview Carenado's new T-34B Mentor, the FlySimware Learjet 35A, Mt Everest Volume 3 from Aerosoft, and the MOZA Rudder Pedals. Right, look at that for a scene, and it's very fancy, and this took me all day I'm doing this, right? Hello everybody, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the middle of the week, the halftime show, the midweek shuffle. Welcome to the news, and there's news with many things on my desk. And I've already bashed my hand twice, but I'd like to welcome you in, where it's 5 degrees in Tipperary, so hopefully wherever you are, it's nicer or warmer, or indeed drier, because it's raining as well. But how are you getting on? Hope you're well. Yeah, so in terms of news, not an awful lot. It's a relatively quiet kind of a week. I mean, you had all the rush leading up to the Christmas break, lots of news coming out just before the new year, and now that we're in the new year, it very much appears that developers head down, getting their stuff done, working away. But there's still a bit, and it gives us a chance to catch up with some of the new releases. One of them being, of course, Carenado's T-34 Mentor. Now, usually when we hear Carenado, we're like, it's pretty, I mean, they look gorgeous, but this one's a little bit different, and we're going to be flying it tonight just to see what it can do, what it can't do. Then the FlySimware Learjet 35A. I mean, this has been an aircraft updated as FlySimware do consistently and constantly over the last couple of years since it got released. They've just updated it and brought forward a 2024 native version. We're going to fly that one as well. Then, as if that wasn't all, we're off to the Himalayas. Yes, we're going to be checking out a brand new release from Aerosoft. It's the Mt Everest Volume 3. Now, we did preview Volume 1 last year. That was all about Lukla and... Hello there. Right. This one, Volume 3, it's actually the closest base camp, or the last base camp, before you get to Everest itself. So we're going to check out what all that is. Then we will be looking at this equipment right here, the MOZA MRP Rudder Pedals. Now, you might be thinking, Murph, right, I mean, if you have rudder pedals, why would you want to look at these? If you don't have rudder pedals, why would you want to start with these? Well, that's what we're going to try and work towards tonight, explaining what this equipment does, right, how it works, the size, where it fits, the software that drives it, but also the experience it gives you as a flight simmer. That extra bit of immersion, but also, most importantly, that extra bit of control over the aircraft. So that's what we're all about this evening. And we also announced a brand new hub for Firefly Air. Yes, we're off to a place where we'll fly many times. Ah, brilliant! So, you're all very welcome in. Janie then, right? I had a bit of a mad day. It was a business day, an office day, if you will, doing office things. And now I'm here. And it's great because we're happy. I built a mad camera thingy. Jez, you'll be impressed with this now. Look, when I go to this view, look, right, especially up here with my fingers pointing. Yeah, Jez, right, that one. That took me most of the day because it's very high, very, very high, right? And have I got this one here? Oh, I do. Look, brilliant. This is where everything... Look, see? Hand scale ratio, lads. Hand scale ratio, all the rage. All the rage. So I thought it was a very interesting kind of, perspective of what it is we're looking at. In actual fact, you could say, Murph, that is probably the best view of you we've ever seen. You can't see your face. Right. You know what I mean? So that's what we go for. But anyway, I've buttons everywhere. I've wires everywhere. I mean, there's buttons everywhere. Carnage. There's going to be carnage. I just know it. But anyway, I hit my hand already. Throw away the phone. I'm just glad I'm just glad I'm wearing jocks. I was going to wear shorts, Gibbo, and then I was like, no. Gibbo knows. Jesus. But anyway, you're all very welcome in. How was your day? Were you working? Were you in school? Were you on the DOS? Maybe you were working at home. Maybe you were thinking about working. Maybe you don't work at all. Hope you had a great day. So who's here? Look, Corn Wolf is first. Welcome aboard. CP65. Happy Wednesday. Vacuum is in the house. Good to see you. Viper Strike is here. Welcome in. Killswitch, good evening. Lear. Double salute to that man. Mrs. TPHI, who is upside down. Good evening. Put the phone away. Summoner is in the house. Howdy, Murph. I watched your top 10 settings video last night. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Delighted that it helped. Spitfire RAF 100 is in the chat. Welcome in, man. Hope you're well. Let me see now. Vulcan is in the house. Greetings to you. Cracker 1963. Hope you're well, buddy. Apache's in the house with 75 streams in a row. Thank you very, very much indeed, Apache. Let me see. The Impossible Face. Merry Newsday. Commander Balosh is here. Anthony V. Hello. El Barto, you're very welcome aboard. Mech Manser, happy Wednesday. Soaring AJ. AJH, man. You're looking well. Idle Cutoff. Cambridge calling. Hello from... no, it batched me hand. Hello from Tipperary. You see, the microphone has to go here, so it doesn't block this little camera over there. Right. Brilliant. But you're very welcome in. APU Inspector, good evening. Creo, hello to all in County Mayo. You're very welcome in, buddy. Good evening to the Impossible Face, who has 30 streams in a row. Thank you very much indeed. Hermit Something is here. Very good afternoon to Boston. I hope you're well, man. Proby Pete, good day from Arizona, where it's 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Jeez, that sounds all right. What's that, about 20? Ooh. Shuffle Shoes. Shuffles in. AJH John, hope you're well. Stu Snape is in the house. Good to see you, Stu. See, Stu didn't need to crash into me last night. I fell over myself. Uniform Goose. Good day, Goose. You're very welcome. Kill Switch, thank you for 50 in a row, man. Unbelievable support. Fierce Wolf is here, looking fierce and wolfy. Welcome in, man. Stick Figure, hello. Liptorius is here. Chuck, a very good evening. Roger Abram says hello from Kentucky. Hello from Tipperary. Hope you're well. Muse Fan bursts into the door with his face. He says how he is, his man jokes is... Happy hump day. Good to see you, Muse. Hope you're well. Old veteran 965 Scott has rambled in. Hope all is well in Texas, Scott. You're looking well. Captain Kenobi, bonsoir, monsieur. Hope all is well. Who else come in? Sunjammer's here. Evening all. Tonight, we spend more money to fuel Murph's addiction. Yes. Stu Snape, 55 in a row. Adam Controls is here. He redeemed hello there on the wrong screen. Hello there. Good to see you, man. No refunds. No. North Coast Mike, very good evening. Where is this now? UTB, welcome in. Mr. Minimite is here. Sean Game, good evening. So not only small hands, small feet as well. What? These are all vicious rumours. I've massive feet. Get Mr. Two-Tone to give you a foot massage. Wait, what? Is that them stirrup yokes you put in your legs when you're having a baby? What? What are you feckin' talking about? Hang on. These are called trousers, jeans, and they're my shoes, look. They're Nike. Now, come here. Do you call them Nike or Nike? Are they Nike or are they Nike? Well, your man was Greek. His name is Nike, but that's a different story. But anyway, I was going to wear... Oh, wait, he was talking about the... Oh, he was talking about the pedals. Oh, one feels terribly stupid right now. Let's continue on as if nothing happened whatsoever. In fact... Just move on. Who else come in the door here now? Just Roy is in the house. Good to see you, Roy. Gibbo. Good man, Gibbo. Help! Brilliant! Bring support, reinforcements. Hope you're well. Cold front blasted through today. It's 15 degrees Celsius. That's t-shirt weather, Scott. Anyway, A340 is here. Happy Wednesday. 7 degrees in Cork. The Rebel County. Yes. Nick, welcome aboard. Where's this? I'm just glad you're wearing jocks, right? Thank God you're not wearing shorts. Wait, what? So the pedals are small. Few lot. You know, North Coast Mike took the MH60 for a spin after the video. Very nice machine. That's an awesome chopper, man. It looks so good as well. Mr. TPHI has rumbled in. Good evening, sir. Pull up a chair. Charlie's in the house. I say those pedals are massive, but it was your hands. Crutch cam. Wait, what? Idle cut off. Listen, how else was I going to design an apparatus that would give me the vertical requirement in order to show the thing? I ask. Shh. It's up there, look. You can't even... That's how big it is. It is off the camera. It's up here, look. Right. Very sophisticated stuff going on in here today, lads. Very sophisticated. Drummer is here. Welcome in. Well, you know they say, big hands. Big spa gloves. They say spa. They actually say spark, but that's not important right now. Welcome in, drummer. Doc Nader, hello. Scorpio 49 has rambled in with a bottle of Merlot and the newspaper from 1977. Reading the crosswords. Good to see you, man. One Foxy Bingo Gav is here. Good to see you. 98 Vulcan is retired. That's the way to do it. The Impossible Face flew from Carnarvon into Wales to Exeter. Ooh, nice. Very nice. That's a nice route. Brilliant Gaming, good to see you, buddy. Where's this now? Jardin Air in the house. Good to see you, man. You're very welcome in a terrible mess, isn't it? Right. Do you see me fancy product placement on the back of me? And now look. Isn't that very good, isn't it? The thing, look, Jardin, the thing. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, come on, right? That sometimes my genius, it even creates currency. You know, Norse Viking, a very good evening to you. TG Sims in the house. Welcome in, man. The pedals, you cabbage. Yeah, we got there. Thanks, Adam. You were expecting flip-flops. Were you? In this weather. Sai120, good evening. Grand 427 is in the house. Welcome in. We're dropping to minus 25 degrees tomorrow. What? Ouch. Culkin is here. P.S. Miranda. Hello there. Good to see you, man. Have you been thanked for your service today wearing that hoodie? I haven't. So right. Now let's a bit of context here, right? I've the fashion sense of an idiot, right? And I need someone like Gibbo who knows fashion to dress me, right? And even Mrs. Truetone will say, that'll look nice, I'll get you this. I'm like, nah, that's not my style. So her heart is broken, right? So when I've been to France, which I have been many times, I love visiting France, and no matter when in France, we always take a bit of a detour up around Normandy, because, well, I'm into the history and whatnot. And every time I go there, I'll get a t-shirt or, you know, a hoodie or a ganzi or some sort of thing. And they tend to be plastered with either the museum in which we visit, the G-Day Museum, or it could be just, you know, the 101st Airborne, this arm, or the 82nd Airborne, or it could be, you know, Big Red 1 or whatever. It doesn't really matter. I have a vast collection of this sort of clothing. Hence, I tend to wear it quite a bit. So, myself and Gibbo, where were we going that time? I think we were going to America. We were below in, I want to say Shannon, a couple of pints. And as we were getting ready to board the plane, a gentleman had left a bag of duty free on the ground. And Gibbo goes, your man's going to forget his duty free. I was like, Jesus. So I got up, you know, picked up his duty free. I said, sorry, you were going to forget this. And he kind of gave me that look. You know the look? Right, because I'm wearing one of these with oh no, it was my shirt. I was wearing a shirt with... Was I wearing Crocs? But anyway, he said, thank you very much. Thank you for your service. And I was like, all right, yeah, Janie, right? And ever since then, it's like... And I wore this in Spar, in Rathcoole, in Kelly's shop in Rathcoole, right? in County Dublin, outside of Baldonnel. And I went in one day, I don't know what I was doing, but I went in for sausage rolls, right? 2 Tone Murphy. Went in for sausage rolls. It's Tone Murphy and shag off, right? It's winter wrapping. That's shag off, right? But anyway, I'm having to go with me weight now. Oh yeah, I went in to get sausage rolls, and I was wearing a 101st shirt, and this gentleman came over, he goes, Screaming Eagles. And I was, in my head, I was like, what the fuck did he say? You know, but then I realised, wait, that's the motto. So I just kind of went over to him, Curry. And he just nodded at me and walked out. And then I said, I'm the greatest father there ever was. But that's what goes on. How did we get so much sidetracked there? Jesus. Anyway, moving on abruptly.
Oh, Jesus.
I do this stupid stuff. You don't have to. You don't have to, right? I'm one of those people. I'm brilliant to bring to places. Because when you stand beside me or near me, instantly you'll go from whatever number on the scale of, you know, Bijani. Let's say you're a 5. Standing beside me, instant 7. If you're a 9, it's a 10. If you're a 3, it's a 6. That's how it works. Just have me standing there. I'm happy to be anywhere, really, you know. But anyway, 2 Tone Murphy, yeah. Funny how they made that up, isn't it? Where's this now? Linus Tech Tips also has small hands. What? I don't have small hands. Jesus. Mr. Minimize says, definitely looks like you're about to get some sort of downstairs inspection. Feet on stirrups. Right. Jesus, we know what. Move on quickly. I think the only way to properly fly is with Crocs. Jesus, Jordan, don't you join in with them now as well? Oh, where's this now? Some lad came up to me a few weeks ago and shouted in me face, up the hoops. took me 10 seconds to realise I had a Shamrock Rovers top on. Up the hoops, thanks very much. Jesus, brilliant. Anyway, Doc Nader, a paper from 77, no spoilers please. Indeed. A true shill. Right, who's this now? Mac and Dad, good to see you. Murph is an expert. You better believe they'll be peddling. Where's this now? You have to leave the house to have someone acknowledge you. You see? That's what it is. Spitfire, indeed. Where are we at now? Base Paladin, good evening. Hope you're well. Malky Mac is here. Good to see you, Malky. Where are we at now? Flying Tonight. Hello. Happy Wednesday. In this topic, Murph steals Valor. Wait, what? Who? Brilliant to bring to places and leave there. Me, yeah. It's okay, you've only been 2 minutes so far. Oh, yeah, the intro, right. The Murphy Vortex. Good afternoon or evening from Southern California, says Debo Fly. That sounds lovely, you know, Southern California. Much nicer than Ireland, Tipperary, beside the wet bit. Right? Do you know? But anyway, let's see here now. Debo, you're very welcome in, buddy. Flying Traits, welcome, my dude. Do you wear socks with Crocs? Yes, of course. If it's very hot though, no. Do you know, you don't have to. You get away with it, lads. You get away with it. Right, hello to a few more people, then we'll get cracking. The Limbics is here. Very good morning to you, sir. Hello to New Zealand. Let me see. Base Paladin, also on YouTube. Dave Cleary, legend Dave. Welcome in, Dave. Good to see you, buddy. Super Typhon, sup? Black Sheep Gene, I want to upgrade my current SciTech Logitech Rudder Pedals, but can't afford to just yet. My SciTech are doing a decent job. Well, here's the thing, and we'll get into this now a little bit later on, but I found flights and pedals tend to be one of those investments that should kind of stand the test of time. For example, I had my SciTech Rudder Pedals for, I must have had them for 10 years, and they still worked. In actual fact, I gave them away to someone in our community. Then I got the Thrustmaster TPRs, which I still use, and they're 7 years now. So like this sort of hardware, it lasts, and that, which is cool considering your feet are on it. You're moving this with your feet and not your delicate soft hands. It's your feet, sometimes in shoes or Crocs, you see. So interesting stuff. Northland Air, good evening. Atlas Wave Studios, welcome aboard. Monty is here. Polder Pilot, welcome in, buddy. Bob Lakecock, he says, I just learned on the NZ news that the F-35s will be at wings over Wanaka. Was it the F-35 or the F-22? They're bringing over... They knew I was going, of course. Hang on. Wait now, is that Murphy coming over? That's a terrible New Zealand accent. In actual fact, that will probably get me blocked at immigration. But yeah, the hairdrive is coming, and they were like, right, we're going to fly over some hardware for Murph, you know, the F-35. Considering it was designed and invented by the Irish, it makes total sense. Thrust set simulations, it's good to see you, man. Has it occurred to you or concern you, you might look old enough to have been in World War II? Never thought of that. Wait, what? RC cosplay, welcome in. Anyone else having a problem opening the PMDG Ops 3? I can't say that I have, but if you right-click it and select Run as Administrator, see what that does. Let me see. Aviation Tyler is in the house. Kieran Niall, good day to you. No way, you can't be older than 17. Thank you, Idle Cutoff Dave Cleary. You are back in the will. Back in the will. Yeah, it's the F-22 display team. Yeah, I was thinking that. F-35s, I was the F-22. That's going to be deadly. F-22s flying overhead. If you get stopped at immigration, if you get stopped at immigration, I haven't a hope. It'd be grand. Photos by Kev is here. Good to see you. Gar Gaming, hello to everyone in County Galway. What do you mean the smell? I have lovely smelling feet. I'll have you know. I have a great authority. My feet don't smell. Base Paladin says, I like my Turtle Beach rudder pedals. I might upgrade at some point to force feedback. Ooh, force feedback rudder pedals? That's kind of where it's all at. Right, we'll come back to the screen in a moment because we're going to get started with the news. And all our news tonight, we have news here from across the interwebs, and we also have updates from SayIntentions, who, expectively, have been flat out bringing new features in. Now, what we're going to cover tonight is a quick roundup of some of the work that SayIntentions have been doing, but I wanted to focus a little bit on their pilot portal. This has seen massive work over the last couple of weeks, and a lot of really cool features going into it. So we're going to have a quick look around to see what they're working with. You see, is WinWing dead, says Rick. Is WinWing dead? Well, they're called Wing Control now. Because there was a copyright something. Right, do you know? But yes, it's all flat out. Mr. Two-Tone, how's the battle? Listen, it'd be grand. This machine, we're going to be looking at this in a little bit here now as well. This is the Carenado T-34B. They just called it T-34B, but it's based on Beechcraft's Mentor, which actually was designed off the Bonanza. If you're looking at it and you'll see, God, it looks a bit like a Bonanza up here. Which it does, and for good reason. So we're going to check this one out here in a moment. But before we get started, friends, we start with the news. Not many tabs on our screen today, but a big shout out to Vasco and at MSFSaddons.com, to Callum and the lads over at FS Elite. And we haven't covered anything from there tonight, but also a shout out to the guys over at Threshold. Zybot Doc is in the house, calling from Denmark. Hello from Tipperary. Toto is here. Good evening. Hope you're well. Herman says, I like my Win Wing rudder pedals, but getting used to the width over my original Thrustmaster. Yeah. And again, some people have been saying in relation to these pedals that they're quite wide, but I have a tape of measurement that we will, measure the things. Piku, good evening. So we're going to start off here at Trijet Renaissance. Yes, well, the TFDI design, the MD-11 definitive edition, has now released for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And there's been a lot of flying of this aircraft already across Twitch and YouTube, and we checked it out last week. It's now available, and it's excellent. This is excellent, right? If 2025 was the year for Airbus, well, 2026 looks to be kicking off as the year of the Trijet. We know now, yes, the MD-11 has released, but we also know that IniBuilds are working on the TriStar, the L1011. And of course, we know that the FSS, the Flight Sim Studio 727, also got pushed with the Dash 100 release as well. So we've Trijets coming out of our ears, which is great. A few days after Flight Sim Studio released its 727, the 100, TFDI Design has officially launched its 2024 version of the MD-11. Described by developers as the definitive edition of the iconic airliner, it's a comprehensive overhaul that leverages the native features of Flight Sim 24, bringing one of aviation's most complex and unforgiving airliners up to modern virtual standards. This is an aircraft I absolutely adore. It's big, old, dirty, confusing, and beautiful at the same time. We flew this across the pond, amongst other flights. So the overhaul focuses on a lot of key areas. We'll start off with the first. The visual overhaul has been massive on this. It's a scratch build mesh. So what do they mean by that? We've tons of videos here and a trailer. We'll have a look. The update directly addresses the feedback from previous releases, bringing the visual fidelity in line with that of the higher standards in Flight Sim 2024. The new model supports the Sim's native pre-flight walk-around mode, which you can walk around and mess around with engine cowlings, inspect the landing gear, interact with the ground service ports, just as you would in the real world. But inside, the attention to detail continues. The developer have simulated the specific warm-up behavior of those CRT displays, mimicking the way the screens flicker and shuffle as the DEUs come online. It's small, but very immersive. Then they went into the systems depth. Under the hood, the MD-11 remains a beast. The add-on features a comprehensive simulation of the aircraft's unique automation, including that of its longitudinal stability augmentation system, or LSAS. Mr. Hoppy is here for 35 months. Thank you very, very much indeed. Cheers, buddy. Sounds like humour. It does, right? It also has the optional roll control wheel steering, right? But for those who just want to push the aircraft to its limit, the extended simulation package, which is going to be a separate add-on, will unlock over 160 failure scenarios. They are specific, manageable emergencies ranging from hydraulic leaks to complex electrical failures, all manageable via an in-sim tablet. If you want to grab that, that'll be coming soon. The most significant aspect of this release is the handling of the transition to Flight Sim 2024. In an era where expensive re-releases are becoming common, PMDG, the team has introduced a $5 upgrade path for existing owners. This loyalty discount allows veteran pilots to bring their hangar into 2024 without breaking the bank. A cup of coffee. For newcomers, the pricing structure remains modular, allowing you to pay for what you want to fly. The base package, that's $74.99, and you can choose either passenger or freighter. The variant expansion then is $9.99, so it's $74.99 if you want one, and then, well, $84.99 if you want the second. So it's basically a tenner, right? Marigin is here. Good to see you, man. 12 months. You haven't aged it. You haven't aged a day. You know, I haven't either. I'm still looking as, you know, but you're very welcome in. And Mr. Hoppy, it has been a while. Welcome in, lads. So we have the variant expansion of $9.99, and then we have the extended simulation, which adds in the failure modules and also the maintenance. The a la carte model means that you can get high fidelity aircraft for $75, and then the complete package for about $90. Between the classic charm of the 727 and the modern systems of the MD-11, the trijet era in 2024 has never looked stronger. And of course, we know that IniBuilds bringing in that L1011. So great news there. I don't know if you saw the trailer. If you haven't picked up this aircraft, you know, if there's an airplane that you're thinking, you know, I really want to sink my teeth into something new. I want to learn the systems. You just want to delve into something new, big and bold. This has to be up there, you know. Jesus. Aged about 10 years, though. Weedy Gaming, good evening. Tima is in the house with 17 months, kicking off a train of hip. Thank you very, very much indeed. You're very welcome in, lads. Right, have a quick look at this. And did I... look, my buttons are working for the first time. I didn't even have to do anything. Right, copyright, but sure. Oh, I better play my own music. Right, we'll do one of these. And, well, some music. To be fair now, are we really feeling that music? No, Murphy, you're some sort of... We'll do one of these instead. We'll go back to the start and we'll do this instead. sure now you're kind of, you know. Now we're sucking diesel. Jesus! Team it, you absolute mad lad. Captain Whip TV, thank you for the raid. Welcome aboard. Doesn't it look absolutely fantastic? It is a supreme add-on in Microsoft Flight Sim. Now, all sorts of stuff are happening. A massive shout out to Tima for the 10 gifted Tier 1 subs. Lads, if you just got a Tier 1 sub, do be sure to say thank you. And also, massive thanks for the raid. Captain Whip TV, hope you guys had an awesome raid. You are most welcome in. Apollo, yeah, you see, you get copyright friggin' stuff when you play real music, you see. And that's where the issue lies. So it's a pain. I could do it on Twitch, but we're also on YouTube, so they're like, no, you can't be doing that, you know. I imagine their music is like 1,000 times better.
With the new MD-11, McDonnell Douglas once again sets a standard for commercial transport excellence and technological innovation.
Right, but anyway, if you want to have a look at the trailer, where is this now? If you want to have a look at the trailer, go over here, press a button, and I'll pop it into the chat.
Key design features include a new flight
do no memento, my friends. Do one of those, do one of these, and I'll put it into the chat. If you want to watch the trailer with its original music, you can do it there. Arch NDA, welcome aboard, man. But yeah, I hope you had a great stream, Captain Whip.
Allow myself to introduce
myself. Right. Anyway, so yes, the MD-11, it's not a brand new aircraft. I mean, we've had this in Flight Sim 2020. However, this overhaul, it really does enhance the experience of this aircraft. Jesus, there's like, hello, there are buttons on a Wednesday. Marigin, Jesus, 10 gifted Tier 1 subs going in from Marigin. Thank you very, very much indeed, lads. If you just got a Tier 1 sub, with thanks to Marigin, do be sure to say thank you. Insane generosity, and thank you very much indeed for your support. Cheers, man. What's going on, right? Murphy, you should wear trousers more often. But anyway, as I said, if you're looking for an aircraft that's really going to kind of scratch the itch of, I want to do something new in the sim, this is it. Cargo ops, passenger ops, and you're flying in an aircraft that will have a lot of familiarity. It is a quite logical aircraft, but there's a bit of a learning curve. It's very, very good. Performance is great. It looks great. It sounds great. And the systems have a lot of depth. It's pretty cool. It's absolutely brilliant. Two Dogs, thank you very, very much indeed. Cheers, buddy. I found out today, brilliant news. Jesus, Two Dogs. Congratulations, buddy. That's fantastic news, man. With Janie Mac, huge news. Derek, you had to climb the stairs, right? That's mad. That's fantastic, Two Dogs. Delighted for you, buddy. Jesus, man, that's brilliant. Cyrus says, good evening, Cyrus. It's good but expensive. It is. It's definitely, it's definitely up there as an aircraft releases, but I don't know, man. I mean, if it's an aircraft that you feel that you're going to fly quite a bit, the cost kind of comes right. But if you also consider, the upgrade path, considering they charged a $5 for like all of this, that kind of has to go in there somewhere as well. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think the system's depth are very near Phoenix with it, says Energizer. Yeah, they're very, very good. They're very, very good. But yeah, look at everyone saying congratulations to Two Dogs. I love that, lads. That's brilliant. And thank you also very much. Two Dogs, you legend. It's great news, buddy. Right, now, What was it? Oh yeah, I was doing this. Aerosoft. Now, wait till you hear this. Aerosoft targets visual complaints in the new A340-600 progress update. So, the Flight Sim look at the lovely placement, by the way, for FlySimTees.com. Have you noticed that? It's everywhere. This is from Gibbo. FlightSimTees.com. Get yourself some t-shirts or some hoodies. Did I show you this last week? You need to see this. Hang on. Go in here. No. Yeah. Get in here. Look. You can design your own, right? It's customizable. You can go in and say, I want one of an airport, and they'll go off and do the one for an airport. Was I telling you this before? Isn't this only brilliant? Where's my button? Look. Up there. Ramble over to flightsimtees.com. Check out their grand portfolio of bits and pieces and use that code above to get yourself a discount. Ooh, highly recommend the hoodies, says Willow how much. The clothing is brilliant. They're in the wash, but they're absolutely gorgeous, right? So check those out. Just a shameless plug for Gibbo. Or you can do the Spitfire with your initials where the squadron go. Look at that. Brilliant. Mother of Jesus, there's more of it. Marigin! Yep. Now, Marigin, don't be alarmed, but I think you have sat down on your phone and a button has been pressed unbeknownst to you. Another 10 gifted tier 1 subs. Dude, thank you very, very much indeed. He's a legend. Lads, if you got a tier 1 sub, once again, a thanks to Marigin here in the chat. There was actually unattended. Oh, no. Oh, Jesus. That's it. Cornflakes and water for the week. Thank you very, very much indeed. I'll buy you some pints, right? Pints of water, but they'll be pints, they'll be lovely, right? Thank you very, very much indeed. So anyway, look, that's flightsimtees.com. Get yourself a discount because saving money is a good thing, and you can do so by using the discount above. But anyway, the Aerosoft head scratching. So, the flight sim community generally agrees on one thing regarding the upcoming Aerosoft A340-6 Pro. Tollus handling the systems, the aircraft's logic, relatively safe hands. This partnership announced at Expo 2025 assigns the study-level coding to the X-Plane heavyweights, that's Tollus, while Aerosoft manages the visual model. Consequently, the pressure is almost entirely on Aerosoft design team to ensure that the cockpit looks as good as we expect. In the latest progress report, Aerosoft addresses exactly this anxiety, confirming a major cleanup of the cockpit displays and texturing, a critical step in bridging the gap between X-Plane functionality and Microsoft Flight Sim visual standards. The primary headline this week from this week's update is the removal of the hazy, foggy effect on the flight displays. For a product that combines Aerosoft's modelling resources with the Tollus system's depth, the washed-out displays were a glaring issue pointed out by many after watching the recent full-flight preview. This is an important quick fix because it directly addresses the community's fear that the visual shell, Aerosoft's responsibility, wouldn't do justice to the system soul that Tollus is responsible for. Despite the improvements, the community sentiment remains cautious. While the systems are expected to be top tier, there is a prevailing feeling among simmers that the cockpit texturing still lacks the depth and grit seen in other high-fidelity add-ons. Some have noted the texturing feels somewhat flat, drawing on comparisons to older platforms or even legacy X-Plane cockpits rather than the photorealistic standards available in Microsoft Flight Sim. Looking at the new screenshots of the overhead panel and the pedestal, the layout is certainly clean, but the ambient occlusion, shadows that give buttons and knobs their 3D weight, seems lighter than what we're used to seeing these days. With the Tollus systems virtually guaranteed to perform, the visual shell must work hard not to feel the weak, or not to be the weak link in the chain, right? On the outside, the flying pencil, well, it's looking robust. Aerosoft states that the exterior is nearly complete, with only major missing piece being the flap and slat undercarriage details. Crucially, they have refined the wing flex animations. The A340-6 is massive, it has massive flexible wings, and capturing that heavy, graceful bounce during turbulence is essential for the feeling of flight. Most of these release version liveries are now implemented, which suggests the product is entering the final assembly phase. However, Aerosoft have deliberately withheld a release date given the mixed reception of their previous A330 launch. This, when it's ready, strategy is arguably the smartest move that they could make. The community would undoubtedly prefer a delay over a buggy launch, especially for an aircraft with this much potential. I'm excited to see this aircraft because, like, I have Tolis products in X-Plane. They're very, very good. Like, they're so good. Airbus stand over them. Like, there you go. Put our branding on the side of it, right? And Aerosoft have made some beautiful looking aircraft, especially in 2020. So we know they can do it. We just need to see kind of where it goes. You know what I mean? Crafty Tiger's good to see you. Apollo is looking for the link. The link for this, I'll give you the link. Where is this now? A link for Flight Sim Tees, was it? FlightSimTees.com. There you go. Anyway, moving on. IniBuilds to introduce the VIP variant and system refinements in the upcoming A340. Now, I love this machine. We flew this on Sunday. Was it Sunday? Yeah, we flew it on Sunday. We were down in Portugal, up to Madrid, and then up to Bilbao. And this new VIP variant, this executive jet variant of an A340, well, it is absolutely savage. This is the A340-300, so it is different to what Tolis and Aerosoft are working on. This is a different variant of the aircraft. But this one, coming from IniBuilds, this is huge for a number of reasons. Number one, they're adding a brand new variant to the fleet of the A340, right? It's a brand new one. You're getting a VIP one. So you have your passenger and you have your praetor. Not freighter, but praetor, meaning that it's a converted passenger to a freighter configuration. They're adding in now the VIP one, and they're doing so for free. This is a free update to the existing package. But that's not everything. They've also gone off and done a ton of fixes. There's updates, fixes, and just general kind of quality of life stuff. This is due to release this week, I think tomorrow, right? The headline features of the update, undoubtedly the conversion of an A340 into a high-end corporate jet. And like the features, this thing has a working shower, taps, the jacks. It even has like systems to monitor the water and wastewater on board. It has custom lighting. There's a lot of features built in with this. It's class looking. And it is very much the flying, you know, residence, presidential or heads of state, you know. But the other changes that they're working on this is a lot of updates coming, which would be version 1.0.7. Addressing mainly the technical fundamentals of the aircraft, refinements over the flight management and guidance system, electrical systems as well, and the rest of the avionics. Specific attention has been given to the nav displays and the MCDU logic, areas that are critical for accurate long-haul navigation. The changelog also notes fixes for braking systems and also CPDLC AOC integrations. On the visual and audio front, the update refines icing and snow effects of the exterior, while the audio environment receives restored callouts and tweaks to the ground proximity warning system. So they're aiming to release this tomorrow, and it's going to be a free download to current A340 airliner customers. And there's a video. 32 minutes. I don't know if you've seen this. I'm sure you've seen it. Sure, we flew it. But just have a quick look at this. We'll hide my head. And my choice of music now is, you know, this could work. Oh, that's very... Go on, we'll do it. The VIP variant. Look at the lighting. Absolutely incredible, right? As I said, we flew this on Sunday, and like just some of the features, man. And the aircraft flies so very, very well. Pretty much did exactly what we expected it to do. And it ran so well. The performance was absolutely great. The visuals are outstanding. That whole atmosphere you get inside the aircraft, particularly in this kind of VIP travel aircraft. And what's nuts is, like, the shower works. You press the button, the shower works. Turn on the taps, they work, right? it's all integrated. You can actually see how much water is left on the aircraft. It's at another level, lads. This is an excellent aircraft. And a free update, this is huge. So well done to IniBuilds for pushing this one out. Also, for the first time, the A340 is going to be available to buy directly over on the INI website, or IniBuilds website. So it's not just a marketplace exclusive. They've now made it, or they're going to make it available over in the on the IniBuilds website as well, which is great for folks. Maybe you don't necessarily want to be buying from the marketplace. You can now pick it up directly from IniBuilds. But I will say this story that a lot of devs, when they say, the marketplace is too slow for updates and whatnot, IniBuilds had this on the marketplace, and it's got 6 updates. It's only out a couple of months, so it's you know what I mean. So I think the marketplace is doing an awful lot better. But anyway, let's have a go. Clifford Designs, a name I used to always get wrong. Clive4D. Clifford Designs bringing animated waterfalls to Iceland in a brand new 2024 scenery package. Ooh! So while Microsoft Flight Sim has made massive strides in procedural terrains, we have all these orbs and whatnot, right? It still struggles with one specific element of nature. Water in motion. And it was our good friend, Paolo friend, the legend himself, Jeppesen 2001, who really started to kind of engineer waterfalls. We saw it with Victoria Falls, we saw it at Niagara Falls, and now we're seeing Clifford Designs push that into so many different sceneries. So it's amazing how much of a difference flowing waterfalls kind of look. Anyway, for low altitude explorers, nothing breaks immersion faster than flying over legendary cascades, only to see that the water is kind of plastered against the wall, right? So they've released Waterfalls of Iceland to address this gap, applying the signature animation techniques to bring movement and sound to the region's most famous cascades. You're also seeing what NZA simulations have done with the likes of Milford Sound, those waterfalls. It's a game changer when you're flying around them. But anyway, fresh off his work from Yosemite and also Switzerland, Clifford has now turned to Iceland with a comprehensive scenery package that targets the static world syndrome by injecting dynamic animations, roar and spray into the land of fire and ice. For helicopter pilots and bush flyers, this adds a necessary layer of life for one of the simulator's most striking regions. Oh my God, I mean, that looks absolutely insane, right? Clifford Designs, they're well established now. A lot of the scenery that they've come out, Yosemite was absolutely gorgeous. And also the Philippines, where they did all the roads, trees, mountains. Absolutely incredible stuff. With Waterfalls of Iceland, it's very close to us. He is applying the same philosophy to the Nordic landscape. Custom 3D models, animated particle effects, bringing the whole thing to life. So the package covers a mix of major tourist landmarks and remote locations, fixing some of the most glaring omissions in default scenery. Notable standouts include the Dedafoss, Europe's most powerful waterfall, invented by the Irish, and has updated to capture the sheer volume and spray intensity of the real site. These are sim photographs, not real world. It's hard to tell the difference like this, isn't it? Isn't that impressive? Absolutely gorgeous, lads. Absolutely gorgeous. Pilots looking for technical challenges will also appreciate the work done at Seljalandsfoss, where the cliff geometry has been adjusted to allow flight behind falling water, replicating the famous pedestrian path. Ooh. So you get a ton of little locations here. This is available right now. You can pick it up over on Contrail, Sim Market, or indeed Orbex. What's the price? $15.83 with VAT, so it's about €12. Which isn't bad. Not bad at all. So great work there from Clifford Design. And I'll have to grab that and go... we'll have to go off and explore it, right? We'll have to go off and explore it. Now, Aerosoft and LimeSim completed the trek to the summit with Mt Everest Airport's version, or Volume 3. We're going to be checking out this tonight live on the stream. The journey that began with the perilous approach into Lukla has finally reached its peak. Aerosoft and LimeSim have released the 3rd volume of their Mt Everest Airport series, and the expansion shifts the focus from the busy commercial hubs of the region to the absolute roof of the world. While the previous releases established the logistical backbone of the Himalayas, this latest scenery pushes pilots into territory where thin air and unpredictable weather become the primary adversaries. This release represents a distinct change in operational focus of the series. So, it includes Sian Bosch, which sits at a staggering elevation of 12,400 feet. The airstrip acts as the final frontier for fixed-wing aircraft, and the developer notes it is the last landing strip available before the terrain rises to meet the summit. Simmers familiar with the region will know that the area is exposed to some of the most mad weather conditions on the planet, often resulting in heavy winds and sudden fog. Beyond the airstrip, the scenery is clearly built with rotary wing pilots in mind. Once you leave the runway at the airport, helicopters become the only viable mode of transport, and the package covers the route from the scenic tourist town of Namche Bazaar all the way up to the Everest base camp. But Aerosoft states that they have utilised extremely high-resolution data of the Khumbu Glacier and the famous Khumbu ice falls. So we're going to be checking this one out tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. It's available now. You can pick it up over on the Aerosoft website, just under €15, right? I believe you pronounce the E at the end. Oh, my pronunciations, lads, like, you know, Mauser, good to see you. What about Glendalough Waterfalls, right? So yeah, great stuff here, and we'll be checking it out tonight to see if that's something you want to grab. Now, moving on, MK Studios, Rome Fiumicino gets the next gen treatment for Microsoft Flight Sim, and this is version 2. So Rome Fiumicino Lima India Romeo Foxtrot has occupied a bit of a strange space in Microsoft Flight Sim, between the Asobo handcrafted version included in World Updates and also MK Studios' original 2022 release. They were fine, but didn't quite cut it for a major European hub. After months of teasing English Murph, after months of teasing a modernisation of their catalogue, well, MK Studios have finally released Fiumicino version 2, a complete rebuild to bring the airport up to the visual and technical standards of Flight Sim 2024. To understand the scope of the release, we'll have to look back at the history of the scenery. MK revealed that their work on this airport began all the way back in 2014 with the release over on P3D. That was over 10 years ago. Back then, the Airbus 350 was just entering service, and 32-bit platforms were the bottleneck. The developer noted on social media that moving away from that legacy infrastructure allowed them to completely overhaul the atmosphere, lighting, and level of detail. If you own the previous version, you might remember it as a decent port, but version 2 is built to leverage the native lighting and material systems of the most recent sim. So what's actually new? Chris Van Hayden, good to see you. The primary hook for the release is optimization and layout accuracy. The terminal interiors have been modelled, focusing on boarding areas to provide immersion without tanking the frame rates. Textures have also been rebuilt to handle the 4K expectations. Performance, following the success of Lisbon version 2, which was praised for its stellar LOD work, MK Studios say the new version of Fiumicino is heavily optimized. This is critical, which sits in a photogrammetry-heavy area that often struggles with performance. The product is fully compatible with 2024, utilising all the new sim features, and for online pilots and VATSIM or IVAO, the updated ground layout is perhaps the most significant upgrade, ensuring taxiways and parking spots match current charts, correcting discrepancies found in the older versions. This is a paid product. It's priced at €20, and depending on the retailer, there's also an upgrade path. If you own version 1, you can qualify for a 30% discount, either on Contrail, IniBuilds, SimMarket, or Orbex. So Rome Fiumicino version 2, it's available. It looks very pretty, I gotta say. I love flying in Italy, and yeah, this one is definitely going to be on my list. I always preferred flying into what was it called? Campino? Isn't that the one? Just to the south? Because if you land in Campino and then, like, you know, helicopter into Rome, you're following the aqueduct. Gorgeous. But this, right out of the coast, this is beautiful as well. And this is now the main hub in Rome. The main hub, you see. So moving on, Crosswind Studio have announced Long Beach Airport. Crosswind Studio announced its latest scenery project for Microsoft Flight Sim, bringing Long Beach, Kilo Lima Golf Bravo, also known as Long Beach Doherty Field, into development. Located around 3 miles northeast downtown Long Beach. in LA. The airport, a key Southern California airport known for the compact terminal layout and strict noise regulations. The airport serves as a range of domestic routes across the western United States and beyond, with airliners such as Southwest, Delta, and Hawaiian operating regular services, including Las Vegas, Phoenix, Salt Lake City, and Honolulu. According to Crosswind Studio, development of the project has been ongoing for the past 9 months, with a strong focus on research and learning throughout the production process. The scenery is currently reported to be about 70% complete. So, anyone like to fly out to Long Beach, Crosswind are working on it. Now, new freeware Landing Toast offers minimalist instant feedback for touchdown perfections. If there is one metric that flight simmers obsess more than the size of Murphy's hands, it's the landing rate. Over the years, the community has mostly relied on external logbooks like Volanta, LRM, and all this kind of stuff to see, was their landing actually butter or was it murder, death, kill? Well, simple tools. Landing Toast is a new feature, utility by developer Newbie Diver. It strips away the flight tracking bloat in favor of immediate in-sim gratification. The add-on addresses a specific need for the obsessed simmer who's looking for a lightweight, aesthetically modern tool that tells you exactly how you performed the moment your wheels hit the ground. You said it, you forget it. It just runs in the background. So having a look at it, you'll see the crack here now from our little video. Let's go down to the touchdown where it should come up on the screen. Can anyone name the aircraft while we're watching the thing? Don't need an app for that. I can pretty much tell when you slam it down, right? Okay, it is nice, gotta say, up on the top screen there. Yeah, it looks like a 777, doesn't it? Someone asked me in the chat, 777 or an MD-11? MD-11. MD-11. So it's a nice little plug-in, this. It's a presentation style that fits well with modern design language of FlightSim 2024. It's a free add-on. You can pick it up over on FlightSim.to. I'll give you the link here if you want to grab it. Check it out. Try it out. It's free, lads. We like things that are free. It's important to note the Landing Toast is an external exe application, not a folder to be dropped into your community folder. So you install it, it runs outside of the sim. All right. Now, if you don't want to kind of add more bits and pieces, if anyone has Flow by Parallel 42, there is an inbuilt landing rate monitor with Parallel 42's Flow. So that saves you the headache of doing all of this. All right. So go into Flow, click on an empty tile, do a search for landing rate, and then just drag one across. Flow gives you a free landing rate plugin as well. Do you know? Heisenberg is here. Good evening. Hope you're well. Now, Pimax, they've debuted production Dream Air and the flagship Micro OLED over at CES last week, right? And they had all these very fancy, important people who don't flight sim. Anyway, Pimax have been showing this out, first teasing the concept back in late 2024 and missing several projected windows in 2025. The hardware manufacturer has finally unveiled the product of the Dream Air and the Dream Air SE. But they didn't come alone. For simmers flying on the highest end of VR simulation market, Pimax also pulled the curtain back on the Crystal Super Micro OLED headset that aims to improve the contrast during flights at nighttime or other scenarios where pitch black is ideal. The followers for Pimax development cycle, the Dream Air, has been a long anticipated answer to the weight concerns of the Crystal series. At CES, Pimax demonstrated the finalized concept, a headset that retains the high-end optical stack of the Crystal Super, including that of the concave view, pancake lens and eye tracking, but to package it in a significantly lighter form factor. The Airline, which will be split into 2 tiers, the standard Dream Air and the budget-focused Dream Air SE. Both support 6 degrees of tracking, compatible with both SLAM and Lighthouse ecosystems, and crucially, they use a DisplayPort interface. This confirms Pimax is sticking to uncompressed visuals rather than shifting to USB-C streaming, a decision that will please those flying in complex scenery where compression artifacts often obscure distant objects, right? While release dates of the Air series are still forthcoming, the hardware shown on the floor is near production ready, so we should be hearing more details soon. The new flagship, the Crystal Super Micro OLED, is the new heavyweight contender for visual fidelity. And following up on the Crystal Super, this variant swaps raw pixel density for dynamic range. The shift to Micro OLED using 4K Sony panels per eye is a direct response to current consumer demands. Traditional LCD screens, even with local dimming, struggle to reproduce the true darkness of a cockpit at nighttime. Micro OLEDs allow individual pixels to turn off, offering infinite contrast. The same can be said when you talk about kind of OLED TVs versus like LED. The difference that an OLED can do, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. But they're liable to screen burn and all this kind of crack. You know what I mean? Roy says, Murph, do you want to promote the fix to the greenhouse farm fix along with the A4 motorway at runway 6 approach at Schiphol? We just did. There we go. So, yes, Roy did an update for EHAM, by the way. If you need, Roy, have you the link for that? Is it on FlySim.to? Anyone flying in and out of Amsterdam, you'll notice that there's a mad pyramid. The Dutch haven't gone all Egyptian on us. It's a scenery glitch. There was a giant pyramid near one of the runways. And Roy has created a freeware little download. You grab it over on FlySim.to, put that into your community folder, and it'll fix it. And it does work with kind of default stuff as well. And he also fixed the road at the motorway. So we'll get, Roy, if you want to DM me that and I'll pop it into the chat. That's probably the easiest way because things here be a bit mad, you see. Two of my favourite things, a two-tone Murphy stream and the cranberries. My coffee, thank you. But yeah, Roy, if you want to grab us that, drop it in a DM and we'll pop it up here for you as well. So basically, if you like flying in and out of Amsterdam, Schiphol, even the Fly Tampa one, you need this fix. Right. Mr. Big Brit, now you tell me you're flying into it right now. Have a look for the big, massive pyramid. You know, it's a new Dutch feature. Yeah, shush, we like the pyramid, sure, and all. Right. So I'll give you the link here in the chat, lads. Thanks, Roy. Here's the link here. You can grab that over on flightsim.to. Right, moving on. Eagle Dynamics. They have revealed their 2026 roadmap with a focus on dynamic campaign and also a Vulkan API. Now, we don't need, we're not talking live long and prosper here. The Vulkan API, Vulkan or Metal, it's another way of running, basically, X-Plane use Vulkan to render now. It's another way, DirectX or Vulkan, right? The long-awaited dynamic campaign alongside a major push into the Pacific theater. Ooh. So a significant portion of the roadmap focuses on dynamic campaign, a feature that has been in development for about 5 years. Eagle Dynamics reports that the work is now focused on strategic and tactical aspects of the AI, including logical creations of strike packages and ground force interactions. We're also working on client-side interface for players to view the air tasking order and set objectives. Parallel to the campaign work is the transition to the Vulkan API, a project the community has tracked since initial announcements back in 2017. Eagle Dynamics described this work as being in its late stage, intended to enable modern features like native frame gen, DLSS, FSR, and cockpit ray tracing this year. While the move to integrate the Vulkan API into DCS promises better VRAM management and reduced stuttering, Razbam CEO Ron Prowler Zambrano has recently claimed that in the Razbam Discord that the switch to Vulkan could effectively say goodbye to their modules in DCS as they lack the source code access required to update them for the new API. Yeah, all I can say is, if not to get bogged down with Vulkan and what it all is, this I will say though, X-Plane 10, whatever that ran on, and in X-Plane 11, especially toward the later stage, and then X-Plane 12, they changed their entire engine over to Vulkan. And the changes that brought, on high-end systems where you were looking at having 4K, everything loaded, graphics coming out your eyes, right? And you're probably getting 45 to 50 frames, relatively smooth, but not butter. When they put Vulkan in there, the frame rates went up to 70 to 80 FPS, and I can't believe it's not butter smoothness. That was the impact Vulkan made on it. Massive. It was OpenGL. Good man. They were using OpenGL. Thanks, Excessively Salty. They were using OpenGL, and then they transferred it over to Vulkan. That was an absolute game changer for the X-Plane model. A game changer. So this is very interesting to see this being looked at from DCS as well. The Pacific Theatre and aircraft also going to be getting a lot of love and attention for this year, and the map modules, AI improvements across the board, the ground vehicles across the board, and also the nav mesh technology. The dynamic campaign work also involves extensive AI improvements for both air and ground units. So DCS, I mean, last year I think was a huge year for them. We saw some absolutely incredible releases, including the C-130, amongst others. And they're targeting 2026 now. It appears to be more refinement, which is a good thing, do you know? I think, good man Marigin, I think the quick and dirty explanation of Vulkan is that it's a modern lightweight API that lowers the overhead added between software and graphics. It works. Effectively, if I'm right in saying this, Marigin, OpenGL was like living in a one-story house. Vulkan is living in a one-story house with a higher ceiling, right? It raises you can fit more in without bursting out. Yeah. Man Murphy, you make total sense. Now, friends, Firefly Air, our beloved virtual airline, has once again crossed the threshold to open up a brand new hub. You guys have been voting over the last couple of weeks, and I got the mail from 6 Knots, who's been terribly, terribly busy, and he says, Murph, we have news of a new hub. So, whoosh, our new hub, ladies and gentlemen, will be that of Dallas-Fort Worth. That's going to be opening soon for Firefly Air. We're going to be using Dallas, KDFW, as a brand new hub in the United States, with the voting for Bucharest, Montego Bay, Istanbul, Madrid, and the last one, of course, comes into Dallas. So we're all off to Dallas. After a couple of pints, your explanation is perfect. Followed by, I love you, man. Brilliant. So we're off to Dallas-Fort Worth, and what makes this even more special, our very own old veteran 965 does a little bit of ATC up that neck of the woods on the VATSIM network. So it could be a lot of fun. So more details coming soon on the routes and the missions and all this kind of stuff. But just to let you know, our brand new hub has been selected, voted by you guys, and it's going to be Dallas-Fort Worth. Looking forward to that. Now, a massive thanks for everyone who flies with our beloved virtual airline. And we have all our stats here, and we can see where everyone's flying, how often they're flying, where they're flying, what they're flying, and all the jazz. And we can kind of see, well, where everything is. This is the work that's gone into this is absolutely stellar work, right? I mean, we can see things for the airline stats, VATSIM flying only, your own personal stats, and then we have all the various different league tables, even leagues that will track the flights of folks who prefer using SimRate versus doing the actual flight. We try and keep them all separate, right? And this is all available for free. It's over on our website, twotonmurphy.com, and just go into Firefly Air. Everything's there, and there is so much information. It's absolutely class. So do be sure to check it out. The number of company routes per day, like the amount of work into this is just staggering. We've over 1,000 pilots, and the amount of flights that we have on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, it's unbelievable. So I think this is our 10th hub, right? We have a ton of hubs now opened, and for each hub that we operate from, you can select all sorts of different flights. Company routes, real world routes, and our own routes, hub to hub, and all this kind of stuff. All right. So that's it from Firefly Air, and a massive thank you to everyone who flies along. Doesn't matter if you can do one flight a week, one flight a month, that really doesn't matter. Once you're flying, you turn on LRM, you're flying around, it's tracking what you're doing. And we're very laid back. You know, you don't need to arrive on time with, like, you know, a shirt and tie, unless you want to, you know. Now, moving on, it's over to SayIntentions and our weekly update from our weekly Notums. Now, with SayIntentions, it's been such a year in 2025, like staggering the amount of stuff that was done. We had a look at all this last week, and we focused in on the video, Vectors to Final, that Brian released, and it was kind of a recap of 2025 and then looking into 2026, and in particular, I think I was most looking forward when I heard these new voices, these new version 3 or the next gen AI voices. It was like, what is the world coming to? They sounded incredible. The fact that they can actually now impact on the mood, the emotional mood of controllers. This is something quite fascinating, because that can also go into pilots, right? But anyway, with all the updates that's coming out, and there's a lot of them, I think the biggest one right now has to be what they're working on, which is Groupie. And Groupie is designed to allow folks to kind of organize and orchestrate a flight. without having to go through multiple Discord channels. They can say, right, we're departing from this airport. Here's our route. This is where we're going to land. They can set up the departure point, i.e. the gate numbers, the terminals, right? And they can do the same at their destination. It can track things like weather, and it will allow everyone to be able to communicate to each other using the in-sim communication devices. You can turn your frequency on your radio to be able to talk to your folks flying around. It'll track your aircraft. You'll see them on the moving map. And you can do so inside your own group flight. If you use a code, we use a code for us, we use TTM. That means only folks who use TTM will only see TTM aircraft. They'll do the aircraft injection, like what we've seen on the likes of JoinFS. So Groupie is working. It's still in early kind of stages yet because they're building it. There's allow time for feedback, allow time to kind of make things a little bit better. But this is certainly something mad because it came out of nowhere. It was like suddenly, it was an idea that Brian had said on the video. Like he said, this is just an idea, and then suddenly, boof, fully up and running. Great to see something like this. So Groupie will play around with this a little bit more. Keep an eye on it. And the idea is this is going to roll out and out and out. Everyone eventually will be able to access this. You know, you can grab it right now. You could, you know, you have the, you can go in as a partner and you have access to all this stuff straight away. Or just wait until it's all kind of ironed out and stuff. But plan your group flights, shared situational awareness, live group tracking, zero friction Skynet integration, and built for coordination. So you can kind of see where they're starting with this and where it might actually get to. I mean, it's not going to be long before we're living in a world that aircraft are being vectored as a group flight using, say, SayIntentions ATC. That could be mad, lads. We're all working together, right? But anyway, moving on. There's other stuff that they're working on here as well. The ATC updates, and this all comes as a weekly email. You can sign up for it. Altitude assignment fixes, initial climb improvements, approach fixes, and also altitude precision. The recap of vectors to finals from 2 weeks ago. The VATSIM handoffs. So incoming and outgoing VATSIM handoff. It's now available. They've opened it up. They've tweaked it and it's working. Now, I had a couple of questions on this, and Mitch, I know where it's at now. The idea behind this is, let's say, for example, you take off on VATSIM and you have ATC coverage, right? And where you're landing, there's no ATC, you know, VATSIM controller jumps on and says, you know, no further ATC available, monitor advisory, squawk VFR, whatever, right? What SayIntentions can do, it can automatically integrate with vPilot and say, there's no one else on VATSIM, we'll take over. Now, there's a little bit of jiggery pokery needed. And what I mean by that is, as you're flying on the VATSIM network, technically on Unicom or advisory, and SayIntentions is now doing your ATC, well, you want to make sure that the integrity is level across both playing fields. If there's someone on VATSIM, other aircraft, on advisory, you need to be tuned in to there and talk to them if they're asking you a question or if you're looking at the traffic. So SayIntentions at right now will recommend have one button assigned for your push to talk for VATSIM and use a different button push to talk to SayIntentions. That way, you're not transmitting onto the wrong network, and it gives you the pilot, I need to be on this. Okay, I'll talk to these guys. That makes sense? Anyway, they've also now done it the opposite way. If you are flying from an area that doesn't have VATSIM coverage, and you want to land in Dublin, and then, 20 minutes into your flight, Dublin ATC staff up, Adam is available, well, when that controller drops you a ping, the way they contact you? You hear the, right? With this now with SayIntentions, that will automatically log that communication, and then SayIntentions will now hand you over to say, contact Dublin, whatever the frequency, be it, approach or tower on this frequency, and then SayIntentions will drop you off, and now you're back on VATSIM. This is something absolutely massive, right? Because this fixes a problem for us as flight simmers thinking VATSIM is brilliant, and it is brilliant. And SayIntentions will tell you this. If you have, if you're comfortable enough and you prefer to operate with, VATSIM controllers who are human, always go with that. If you're not very comfortable yet, or you'd like to learn a little bit more, well, then this is where AI can help you. This solution enables now that you no longer have to worry about, oh man, I've no more ATC. That gets rid of that. And that's a problem, right? Because think about it, right? If you're in Ireland and you say, right, It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I should have went to bed, but no, I'm now going to fly to Swahili. SayIntentions have you covered here. Chances are your real life VATSIM controllers are in the lab. They're in bed. This is really, really cool. So I was looking at this and I said, right, this is deadly. Flying across mixed ATC environments shouldn't require workarounds. The update removes the friction of manual disconnects, restarts, or awkward transitions, allowing you to fly naturally across VATSIM controlled and non-controlled airspace as part of a single, uninterrupted flight. We originally released VATSIM handoffs in partner preview to validate the behaviour and work through the edge cases. After weeks of real-world testing and community feedback, the system has proven stable and predictable. Now it's available to everyone. Whether you're flying into a region with live VATSIM controllers or leaving controlled airspace behind, SayIntentions now manages that transition. Effectively, it will carry the ball. It takes the flight with it, right? And then I was saying, well, how do we do this? We'll come back to it in a moment. Here's something else new. Aircraft profiles for your SayIntentions. Settings that follow the aircraft. So, it's been a long requested feature. It's now possible. With the new version 3.4, moving most settings into the pilot portal, right? SayIntentions can now finally deliver something pilots have been asking for since day one. Aircraft-specific profiles. These profiles, you create them, they're tied directly to an aircraft ICAO code, right? Settings update automatically with different aircraft when they're loaded in. And these are things like, you know, from your call sign, from your cabin crew, all this kind of stuff. Assign specific cabin crew voices and intercom layouts by aircraft. So let's say, for example, you're going to say, right, I'm going to fly in the, I don't know, the Airbus A340 for Aer Lingus. And I have Jemima and Cornelius, they don't exist yet, as the cabin crew. It'll remember what crews you usually fly with. And it's just one of these things that, I have to go into this menu and make sure these are right. It saves it by the aircraft. It's genius, right? Genius. Aircraft profiles are a direct result of moving configuration out of the app into the pilot portal. That shift unlocked the ability to make SayIntentions aware of what you're flying and not just that you are flying, right? You can now define profiles based on the aircraft's ICAO code. Now, to get all of this up and running, what you need to do, ramble over to your pilot portal on SayIntentions. And even this has seen massive upgrades over the last couple of weeks. So your usual spots, your account details and so on, settings. There's a new What's New tab, and that's going to show you, well, look, this is everything, 48 minutes ago, right? Brian has been doing a couple of things. Changelog, fixed edge case issue that could stop descending on a star assignment, fixed recent 12-hour ago compression of Copilot. Like, you're seeing live updates and patches being applied to SayIntentions. 30 new voices added to Italy and Turkey 3 days ago. 30 new voices. Like, what? Right? Anyway, that's that part of it. If we come down into, I think it's in settings. If we go down into settings, right? And if you're a partner, you have options to a lot of this stuff because they have new things here like, RAS, the Runway Alert Awareness System. On runway 24, that's all coming in, right? And then we have the VATSIM handoff settings, right? So when we talk about this, you would have to enable it. Murph, hit Control F5. Have you just updated this again? Settings. What's new? What was it not running? Anyway, what were we saying? Oh yeah, the handoffs. This is where you can go in and change. Things like your identity, the aircraft in which you're going to fly, the settings that you'd have to say. Do you want to use this feature or do you want to not use this feature? It's very, very powerful. If you don't want certain things on your flight, I'm not interested in the VATSIM stuff. Well, turn it off. I remember we were doing a bit of a demo on SayIntentions one day, and it was just it was so much radio. And it was, whoa, everyone's talking. And Brian was like, turn that off. That's just jibber jabber in the background to make turn it off. You don't need it. So have a play around in here. The other stuff I wanted to show you with the pilot portal, because this is kind of the brain, what's going on in the background, right? The SkyOps missions, we had a little play around with this a couple of weeks back because you have the new mission board. Right? So instead of just looking for a random mission, well, you can go in and you can select them. These are the ones that are available. And you can say, I want this one. I want to request that mission. So if you're doing SkyOps, you can jump in and say, I want this mission. If that wasn't good enough for you, you can actually go in and create your own mission. And we did show this off before. We had a Muse fan who wanted a can of Coke watching Lord of the Rings. Like, this is all part of the, like, it's mad, right? And then you have your SkyOps pager. You can go on call. So you can, like, if you want, have the sim running in the background. You're parked on the ramp at whatever airport, whatever aircraft, and you're on call. Then beep, it'll give you a call. Brilliant stuff, right? Brilliant stuff. The other bits and bobs that we have in this as well, all the commercial routes, we had a look at that a few weeks back as well. They've all been updated, and there's some amount of them from IFO. That's just our map. You can go in commercial routes board, and you can go by the types. You can see, like, this is unbelievable, the amount of work in this. The sheer number of real world routes has all been added. So if you want to fly real world routes, you don't need to go searching or scouring the internet. You can find them from it here. And the same story again. You can do a quick file and you can go straight to SimBrief. It'll automatically ping you over and you can start planning your flight. Other things we have, your flight log. This is showing all the different flights that you've done, the flight ID. So let's say, for example, if you were flying with SayIntentions and something happened, you know, if you like, Dublin Tower, November 235, Romeo Mike, on final runway 28 left. And for whatever reason, ATC come back on and say, November 235, Romeo Mike, Dublin Tower, clear to land, runway 16. What? Right? It can happen, right? It can happen. And let's say we didn't automatically log that using the SayIntentions app. Oh, I'm not forgetting, right? Well, this is where you can go back in. You can view your flight, you can get all the details, you can leave comments about it, you can go back and look at the communication log. What did we actually say? What was said here, right? But it also means that you have the flight ID in which you can report this back to the lads to say, hey, this is how we fix it, right? The on-call thing is a great way to wreck a relationship. The on-call thing is a great way to wreck a relationship you want out of. Sorry, my simulated city needs me. All right, I can't hoover the house tonight or make dinner. I'm on call. Yeah, that's brilliant. But anyway, this is important for us as users. If you do experience an issue, which can happen, it's important that we feed that back to the team at SayIntentions because, like, they need to know it. And if we're not telling them, lads, there's an issue, there's not an issue. So we need to feed it back to them nicely, respectfully. Lads, issue here. Can you have a look? They will have a look. They just will. So very important to do that. Same with our flight plan. That's all in here as well. Our ATIS lookup. This is pretty cool. If we wanted to just do a very quick lookup, give me the ATIS there for Dublin, please. And it'll horse it in. Boom. Copy that. You can see the TAF here as well. It's just something handy when you're going in to think about planning a flight. Your flight plan, this is where you can file a flight plan on SimBrief, all right? Or we can do our own. I tend to do this now with SayIntentions, especially if I'm doing like VF4. I'll put in the type of flight I want, VF4, or if it's going to be IF4, and I'll just give it an idea of what I'm doing. I give that flight plan. It'll tell me, right, we have to fly within a certain amount of time. And then when I'm in the sim, when I call up, I just know my flight plan is on file. Handy, right? Flight tracker is there. Loving this because with the flight tracker, you can hear the audio. This is all like, this is people who are flying on the SayIntentions network right now. All over the world, right? And it's pretty cool to listen to this. And there's loads of cool stuff added to the map. The UI is all being cranked up. But you can go in and look at different things. If you want to look at the virtual airlines, for example, well, who's flying with the virtual airlines? And you'll see all the virtual airlines here, pilots who are using SayIntentions flying with their virtual airlines. We have one flight airborne at the moment, Firefly Air. Click on Firefly Air, it should bring us to our landing page, which it does. So everything's kind of interlocked and it's all linked together, which is brilliant. When we're doing our group flights, right? And all we need to do, if you put in your group code, let's say it's TTM, I'm not hosting any flights, so it's probably not going to show me anything. Limit to my group. There's no one flying using our group at the moment. But if we do use that, it's only us flying at the moment, right? Which is absolutely class. And then if we like our map the way it is, well, we can go up here, 3D view. Like, isn't that the cat's pajamas? And you can get all this stuff to show on the map as well. Isn't it brilliant? And we can change the type of map as well. Like, it's just class. It's absolutely class. There's one thing I meant to ask, actually. I forgot to say it to Brian or the lads and SayIntentions. You'll probably understand what I'm saying. Do you know when you ask a co-pilot, who's in my group or who's currently flying or what aircraft are closest to me. It couldn't figure that out the last day. And I don't know, was something turned off or you're working on it? Or maybe I didn't ask it right. Because I remember I was able to say, who's in our group? Hey, you got 6 people in your group. Remember that? So it could have been just that day. But yeah, have a now a gawk into this. Lads, if you haven't tried this before, you need to it's a 24-hour free trial. I highly recommend clear whatever schedule you have, or if it's coming into a weekend, give it a blast, because the amount of stuff, it's far more than just your ATC. It's far more than traffic injection. There's so much more going into this product, right? One of the other things that they worked on at the tail end of last year, which is now working, is StreamKit or StreamKit, right? So with StreamKit, if you're a content creator, if you're doing live streaming, the integrations that this has, it'll connect to your Twitch or your YouTube. That allows, SayIntentions, to be able to see messages coming in from your audience, and it can interact with your sim. Huh? Crazy stuff. You need to check this one out as well. If you're starting off as a streamer, if you're starting into this and you're wondering, how am I going to set all this up? They have it. SayIntentions StreamKit have done the work for you. You click into it and say, yeah, I'll have one of those, please. So check that out as well. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. We've used it. This is how we talk to our tour guide, and your lovely messages come across. Right? And that's kind of it, I think, for tonight. With the changes that they've made, it's so very hard to stay on track of it. There's so much changes going on in the background. And as Brian shared from Vectors to Final, like 80% is on the core of this. That's the resource usage. 80% of their resources are used on the core ATC. Then you have main things like, bug fixes, and then other. And the other stuff that we see, well, that's the brainchild for the likes of, say, SkyOps or Pocket Sky, which is also the app you can have on your phone. And you have access to all of this then on your phone, right? So you could be on call in your living room watching The Great Escape, and next thing your phone is beeping to say, you're up quick, you have a flight. It's very, very good. Definitely, I think the VATSIM stuff, I need to do a bit of practicing with that. We experience that on our Thursday nights. We'll be flying, sometimes we'll be on Unicom for the entirety of our flight, right? So this is something I want to see, can we address? If we're going to be flying either using ATC from VATSIM or arriving using ATC from VATSIM, let's see how we can link the two of these together, because I think that solution, particularly when it comes to flying online, giving you that sense of there's ATC here, it's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And also, if you're a new pilot, you want to get into VATSIM, you're just not feeling 100% ready yet, which is totally okay. We all start somewhere. We all start somewhere, right? Having, SayIntentions there, you can choose in your settings how strict do you want SayIntentions to be in terms of trying to detect what you're looking for. And what I mean by that is, it's like, what's your ATC experience? Are you beginner, are you intermediate, or are you expert? If you tell it you're an expert, it's going to be stricter with how you're communicating. I'd like to take off, please. No, that's not how you ask for clearance. You know what I mean? So it'll do all of these things and interlock with them. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Where's the tea? I function on tea and biscuits. We need more tea, right? Murph, can I tell me, boss, I have to leave work? You're having on-call alert. That's exactly what you do. That's exactly what you do. But have a look of it. Have a look at it, lads. There's a 24-hour free trial. Clear your schedule. Sit down to say, right, I'm going to give this a bash just to see what it's all about. I promise you won't be let down by it. There are so many features. The pilot portal, if you've a lot of people I've spoken to were like, the what? The pilot portal, right? It's more than just your account details and how to log in. You've access to so many things in here. So do be sure you check it out. Right? Murph, your opinion, is it time to delete flights from 2020? I would say so, Mauser. Yes. A new feature, emergency call from SayIntentions to help you get out of bad dates, work and boring parties. That'd be genius. I need to get out of this. Imagine they ring your boss. Hello, yes, listen, he's needed now. His government requires him to be somewhere. Brilliant. But you need to check it out. In addition to the pilot portal and the app and everything else that's associated with it, SayIntentions also have a very active Discord community. You'll see all the team. They're all their names are there and they're active and they're, you know. So if you're ever stuck with something, ask me. I'll help. If I can't help, straight over to SayIntentions. If it's something on kind of like a development thing, by all means, just go to support. But if it's something like, Murph, what's the button for this? Just ask, lads. And we've plenty of folks in our community who are using SayIntentions. It's going to be the same crack. They'll help you out. You know what I mean? So, does it work with X-Plane? Yes. With a caveat. So Father's game, the ATC works, no bother. Where you run into issues is the things like, you know, kind of Skynet, SkyOps, that kind of stuff. But your basic ATC, it works really, really well in X-Plane. I've done X-Plane flights. It handled it like a champ, you know. Do you not need some folders for model matching? Folders for model matching, says Gibbo. If we go into downloads, do we not need folders for model matching? Is that for Skynet, Gibbo? No, I think it just scans yours, I think, when you do it. I could be wrong. Marriage, and technically you do need some traffic libraries installed, but yeah, we auto-detect whatever's in your community folder. Aha. So yeah, so Gibbo, for example, yeah. If you're using Skynet and for the other aircraft, you can point it to the likes of FSLTL, but make sure if you're using FSLTL, don't use their injector. It will break the internet, but it just won't work. So you can have the models from Just Flight, that's what I use, or FSLTL, or I think those other ones that Adam gave me from IVAO, I think they work as well. And you can point SayIntentions just to the models, but just be sure you're not using the traffic injectors because they won't work. They won't work. All right. AIG probably works as well. Yeah. So if you have a third-party model libraries installed, we can happily use those. Otherwise, we just use the built-in Microsoft Flight Sim models. There we go. There we go. Excellent. So hopefully that has helped with a bit of information for you guys with SayIntentions. If you're happily using it, right? Feedback is always important. Let us know. And perhaps, I love this one, by the way. See the stats and, I forgot this. Stats, this is new. Stats and metrics. The most common routes, the most common departures, arrivals, geographic breakdown, flight duration, and then aircraft type and aircraft, what's mostly flown. All the stats are here as well. They have their own stats. Isn't it brilliant? Who's the most popular cabin crew? Where's Sarah? Janie. Right? Brilliant. ACA missions. That's another. We covered that before, but they were like the charity flights that you can do. And of every ACA mission that you do, right? The Air Care Alliance. This is all brought in new. Every flight that you complete, and you know all the missions that you're doing with it, SayIntentions are actually making donations. Part of your subscription will actually go to the Air Care Alliance. This is a wonderful thing. It's pretty cool. So yeah, you need to check it out. Murph, do you have your badge from SayIntentions? I do. It's on the shelf of many things. Just here behind me. It's very fancy. It's my pilot ID. It's pretty cool. He better have a SayIntentions. No, I do. Hang on. If this breaks, I've forced it. There I am, look. Ah, brilliant. They even got me face. They didn't. They got me logo. No, brilliant, isn't it? SayIntentions. I do have my badge, and I love it. And the lanyard, I'm a devil for lanyards. It to say SayIntentions on it. I wonder, what if I wore that with this sort of hoodie? I'd be thanked for my service and then asked, what do I do? SayIntentions. What are your intentions? You need to tell me. But yes, so your partners get access to this kind of cool stuff as well. There's a lot of perks of being a partner with SayIntentions, and anyone can be a partner. Just have a look at partner. You'll see you'll see what's required and how to do it, and it gives you access to stuff and some very nice pilot swag. You see, you got the lanyard too. Ain't breaking that one in a hurry. No, all right, you know. I see you don't wear it all the time. The ladies will be all over you. 60% of the time it works every time. But yes, lanyard, it's absolutely brilliant, you know. So hopefully, oh Jesus, I've crashed. Hopefully that'll give you a bit of insight. We use SayIntentions here on flights. I'm using it. I'm testing it a lot with X-Plane just to see. It's even, some of it is working over on DCS, right? They're, with the API, again, SayIntentions came out with a brand new developer API and they can make things work. But it's just class. The whole ecosystem is class, and it is fastly becoming one of the most essential add-ons required for your flight sim because of everything that's attached. Your Skynet, your SkyOps, Pocket Sky, ATC, there if you want, it's there if you need it. Traffic injection is there. There's so many things being added and bolted on, and the program is getting faster and it's getting better. It's class. Absolutely class. Right, now, anyway, so that concludes the news. Now, friends, we're going to move on and look at the flight sim stuff. So we have some stuff to show you tonight. This being the Carenado T-34B Mentor. It's about $25 on the marketplace, and it's a Carenado aircraft, but I gotta say, it looks terribly pretty, this one. Terribly, terribly pretty. And when you kind of get the name Carenado, you're saying, yes, it's going to look nice, but, you know, it might seem a little hollow with some of the systems, perhaps. That is not the case with this one. This is actually pretty nice. The aircraft, I'm fascinated by it. The Beech Mentor, it was actually derived from the civilian Bonanza, right? You can see that there's a lot of similarities, especially when you look at the front. Oh yeah, that just looks like it, right? It comes in a number of different liveries, which is great to see. And, well, we're going to hop in and take it for an old jaunt here. Now, to learn about this aircraft, it was kind of developed during a time there wasn't an awful lot of money in Beechcraft for, you know, working on military-style trainers, right? It's an American propeller-driven, single-engine military training aircraft derived from the Beech Model 35 Bonanza. The earlier versions of the T-34, dating from around the late 1940s and 1950s, they were piston-powered, piston-engined. These were eventually succeeded by the upgraded T-34C Turbo Mentor, powered by a turboprop. The T-34 remains in service more than 7 decades after it was first designed. Hey, Hayden is here. Good to see you, Hayden. Welcome in. Lads, if I've missed anyone by saying hello, hello. The chat is quite busy tonight, and thank you also very much indeed for tuning in. Fornax is here as well. Good to see you, buddy. So, with the aircraft, 3 initial design concepts went in, developed for the 45. They were originally going to use the the Bonanza's V-tail, but that didn't go terribly well. So what we ended up with, the T-34, some 2,300 of these have been built, manufactured between 1953 and 1959, then again between 1975 and 1990. They first flew in 1953 and introduced. So it's mainly a training aircraft. What we have here from Carenado, well, simple, robust, and trustworthy design, the T-34B became a favourite among cadets and enthusiasts alike. Its honest handling, unmistakable silhouette, and timeless personality earned it a lasting place in aviation history. In this digital recreation, its classic cockpit, original lines, and characteristic flying behaviour have been faithfully presented and preserved. Subtle enhancements ensure a smooth, modern simulation experience while protecting the authenticity and heritage that defines it. The features of the aircraft, 8 liveries plus a white one if you want to get into the repainting. Realistic high-quality digital sounds, realistic flight dynamics, circuit breaker panel operative, landing gear emergency extension, canopy jettison, tablet-style interface where you can change the GPS and whatnot. 2024 career mode compatible, first flight, ferry flight, and flight seeing. Carenado's real experience features, such as the altitude indicator startup, the shivering needles, panel shaking, amongst others, and it even has its own smoke engine. Ooh, right. I'm currently in the plane, but we'll show you the outside of it here now. So you get the usual kind of remove before flight from Carenado. Something fell in my kitchen. Yeah, we have our chocks there. We have the pedo flags, the intake covers, and of course we have the cover outside. So if we go around now to try and, remove these off the aircraft, you'll notice that we can actually interact with the chocks. I've just removed those. We can open the baggage door, right? And you can actually do the usual stuff, grab a hold of the ailerons and all this sort of jazz, right? But I do like, they've been adding this to some of their aircraft. You can actually open the engine cowling and get a good old look in at those Continental engines. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's great to see this from Carenado because it's just adding that little bit of depth, right? What else we have? We've got a pedo flag there. Remove that. Engine intake is grand. Okay. Another important step from Carenado. Now, I don't know, did they listen to me? Highly unlikely. Or is it because of the aircraft itself? but you no longer do this weird disappearing fact when you open the door, especially the canopy on this. This is great news. Because sometimes you just want to look at the aircraft with the friggin' door open, right? So we'll jump in and welcome to the cockpit. And you'll see by this is kind of a mix of civilian and military kind of coming together. And it's actually very, very nice, right? So if we look behind us here, we'll close the rear canopy. We'll keep our own open for the moment. And just a bit of cockpit familiarization. So down on our left-hand side, we have our fuel booster, fuel tank, landing lights. We have an emergency locating transponder or transceiver. We have our rudder control, our trim control, rudder, aileron, and elevator. We have our engine controls. So we have our propeller, we have engine, and we have mixture. Then we have our mags. We have our landing gear. And then as we move across our main panel, we have a GPS up here on the top left. We can change that. So if we go into the inbuilt EFB, ramble on over to the T-34, it's compatible with the Asobo GNS 430, that's loaded, or a TDS GTN 650 or the PMS GTN 650. Or the PMS when installed, we'll go ahead and horse that in. We'll also check our weight and balance. There is a bug if you're using chase plane. Your pilot will not appear. The bug appears to be in chase plane. So if you buy the aircraft and you're wondering why your pilot cannot be seen from the exterior view, it's because of chase plane. Hopefully a fix is coming soon. Right, what else do we have? So that's the left-hand side. Our main displays across. Your usual kind of six-pack is located here. Then we have our landing gear indicated. We have our CAP 140 autopilot. Turn and slip coordinator. We have our Hobbs hours. We have our air for suction powering the gyro. Fuel tanks left and right. Cylinder head temperature and oil temperature. We have amps. Oil pressure, right? Coming over, fuel flow and manifold pressure, exhaust gas temperature is here, and you can move the needle to get that absolute, right, here's me peak, right? Emergency release of the canopy works, starter, generator, battery, and we have our park and brake just here. The emergency landing gear toggle, then we have our onboard lights, internal lights, external lights, and then we have some modern Navcom radios and a transponder, and also the circuit breakers are modelled and they work. There's quite a bit going for this. So let's start off with a bit of power into the equation. And we're going to start her up, take off, and see what it can do, right? So battery's coming on. We'll come on down here, and we're going to get our nav lights and beacon lights on, right? You hear the gyros spinning up. And we have some nav lights up here on the wall. All right. Coming down here to our left-hand side, so we're going to open our fuel, stick it on the left tank. Mixture's fully rich, prop full. Open the throttle, park and brakes engaged. Boosters coming on. That's a landing light. Boosters coming on. Mags can come on. And we're going to engage the starter, right? So we have our starter, battery, and generator. So we'll say clear prop. And give it a start. See the lovely shakes on the panel. Very, very nice. And see, like our compass HSI here, or artificial horizon, that's the physics of the gyro reacting to the shaking of the aircraft as it warms up and spools up. And when it stops moving, it's doing its job, right? So that's a good start. We're going to turn off the booster, and we're going to go ahead and turn on the generator. That's all looking good. And avionics, got to switch with these guys down here. So you see our avionics coming alive. Again, all your screens are reacting and shaking around. Pretty cool, right? Margin, take it easy, buddy. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon. Turboprop version? Yeah, that'll be freaking nuts, wouldn't it? So you can kind of see your avionics just work straight out the bat. Stall warning test, that's working. Lovely. Landing gear, we can test that. Yeah, the light is working. Lovely. We have air vents here on the side. Remind me to test those when we get airborne. Alright, close down that. Bit of a light flashing here. It's like LOD. We need to check that. Alright, so outside the aircraft, let's have a listen to the engine sound just on kind of idle where we're at. Nice sounds, right? It sounds really, really good. You'll also notice in the back here as well, something we don't often see from Carenado, but it's an actual rotating beacon light. We don't always get to see this, and this is a nice thing to see in the aircraft. It's a proper rotating beacon light. Isn't it a beautiful shape? The PBR here is absolutely fantastic. Those reflections, everything looks absolutely gorgeous. This is a beautiful aeroplane. It's a beautiful airplane. Mike says, not for 2020 as well. What the shag? It is coming for 2020. Carenado said they will release this on 2020. MPD, thank you for the follow. I received my initial flight training in the T-34, so soaring AJ. No way, man. Right. So, how are we looking? We're all right. We're going to come off the brakes. Give it a bit of a taxi forward. Sounds are gorgeous. Notch of flaps, and they're electric flaps. You just play. How are you, young fella? Oh, good, yeah. You just play around with the flap. Carenado did amazing with the sounds. Yeah. Sounds on this are really good, lads. Right, we've got landing lights on. And transponder will go live.
Dude, have you been drinking? I have, Ted. I've been drinking like a mad Egypt.
Look at the canopy shaking here as well, look. Isn't that gorgeous? Easy now. Moving the ailerons. Are those sounds? Absolutely brilliant. Alright. Get ourselves lined up. Hold the brakes. Bring the power in. Off the brakes. Airspeed live. And we'll look for a rotation speed. Gear up. And flaps in. Alright, bit of trim. There's great visibility in this aircraft as well, so using my Toby, you just get an idea. This bubble canopy, it's fantastic. So the shaking of the panel, that's all built into the aircraft. Alright. So I wanted to see, does the air sound different? No. So Carenado did that on the 172 or the 182. You can disappear the sticks. The control lock doesn't work, unfortunately. And then we have a smoke system, but for whatever reason, I don't know, is it me or is it bugged? But the smoke is about 2 or 3 feet lower than the aircraft than it should be. I've seen screenshots where this is perfectly aligned with the exhaust, but for whatever reason, I must have another add-on upsetting it on the smoke system. No, it looks decent, but I have seen photos where it is perfectly aligned. 777, good to see you, buddy. Triple seven, you take care, man. It's very pretty, isn't it? Right, we'll turn off the outer smoke. And what I want to have a look at now is going to be the nighttime lighting. Hangar 713 aircraft, says Nick. Okay, we'll let him know. No, I don't think it's chase plane. Right, time of day. What's it like for nighttime lighting? Ooh, So, riding up these fellas. Now, I gotta say, that is very, very nice. You can operate either the front seat or the rear seat, right? What do you think of the lighting? It's pretty, right? I love the night lighting, man. That's gorgeous. Look at that. Very, very pretty. Eye in the ground. It's in the post, is it? Ah, okay. Yeah, definitely, Big Al. Like, a lot of the time, devs didn't have a reason to really, you know, up the sounds for flyby. Now, I gotta say, for a Carenado aircraft, yes, it has the looks, but on this one in particular, the sounds are excellent. The systems, there's great things at play here, from like the shakes and the visual effects. The airplane flies really, really nicely as well. I think they've hit a home run with this. This is a beautiful, beautiful airplane. The modeling of it is absolutely stunning. It flies well, the sounds are great, and the price, in and around 25 bucks, this is an amazing, amazing add-on. Highly recommend this one, lads, especially for general aviation. As I said, the pilot isn't there. It's a chase plane issue, or at least that's what they're saying, right? But I'm so happy with this purchase. I just think it's a great machine, and you know, you can kind of throw these around a little bit. You're not going to break any records. I mean, speed probably about 140 knots comfortably, right? Altitude, I think it's like 12,000. So like, you're not going to get up into like kind of silly business, but it definitely performs. It looks great, it sounds great, and it flies nice. Yeah, Big Al. Yeah. If you turn off chase plane, I think the pilot appears. Let's test this idea, shall we? Briefly. Right, chase plane is off. Default camera system. Show me external. Maybe you have to load back in, I'm unsure. But they were saying if you have chase plane off, it should fix it. Do you know? Like the fact reflections also mimic the instruments. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. With the rear seat. And again, everything functions back here as well. It's just a really nice airplane. I think they've done a great job. So if you saw it on the marketplace and you're thinking, should you get it? Hopefully, you know, this preview will explain if it's for you or not. So excellent stuff from Carenado. Great work. They've done great work here. So now we're going to move on because we need to check out the Learjet 35 and we need to be checking out Mt Everest Volume 3, and then we're checking out some hardware, right? It actually does around 165. Oh, it's 18,000. I think cruise maximum speed is 185, and I think cruise is like 145, 150. And then service ceiling, I think then 18,000. Nice. Right, Learjet. Oh, my sim is going to crash. Anyone else having issues with their sim that crashes right in the middle? You know, when you go into like menus, it's happened quite a bit now for me. I can get in, load a flight, but if I go into like, you know, the content manager, or if I do a flight and then I go in to do another flight, it just, is that just a Murphy issue, or is it happening to you guys as well? I don't know, was it something that was introduced with some update 4? No idea. It's happened to Piku as well. So we're not alone. Right, grand. Now, the FlySimware Learjet. We'll have a look at this as the sim is loading, right? Yes, Murph, you get that a lot too, says Dragon. Fornax, sometimes. Uniform Goose doesn't happen. Malky doesn't happen. Okay. So the Learjet 35A, the 2024 version. It was an aircraft released already in 2020, and then they brought out these expansion packs, you know, like the cargo and the Medivac. Those extra versions, they're all baked into the one release now, and you have a price tag of $65.99. Now, there is an upgrade path. If you did own it in 2020, you get a 20% or $20 discount. So it's a $45.99 add-on, right? All right. So in terms of what it is, While we offer an upgrade discount for prior owners, understand the release is not a simple 2024 upgrade. It's the third generation of their Learjet, which has been rebuilt from the inside out. They've stripped out previous systems, redeveloped the core logic from the ground up for 2024. It may share familiar modelling and some legacy liveries, but the underlying systems and workflow are a major step forward. Because of that, we strongly recommend first reading the simulation information section above and the detailed feature list below, and watching any available videos to fully understand what's included before comparing it to a typical upgrade price. If you're happy with the original 2020 Learjet, well, it still remains a solid option and continues to work in both simulators. The new version is aimed at those who want a deeper systems candy version and experience of the most advanced Learjet 35 that they can deliver on the FlightSim 2024 platform. Which is great news. So FlySimware are telling you, listen, if you're happy with your Learjet 35A, read down what this one is all about. If there's nothing there that you're interested in, keep the 2020 version. It works on both 2020 and in 2024. However, if you really want a newer experience that you can dive deeper with the new sim, they're allowed to dive in a little bit deeper. Well, now you have the option. This to me sounds fair, you know? Let me see. Hugh, no foreign, welcome in. Just built a new PC with a 9800X 3D. Is there anything special to do in the BIOS other than enable Expo for higher memory speed? Ooh, I'll have to look into it. I'm afraid of BIOS. But yes, there's a setting for like, don't have it on game mode or game performance mode. Doesn't do an awful lot of good. You want to have all the cores available. Commander Space Rooster, good morning, buddy. Hope you're well. Firefly Air, welcome in. You're very welcome. Okay, so what we have, the description. Learjet 35 and 36, a series of American-built multi-role business jets and military transport aircraft manufactured by Learjet. Powered by two Garrett TFE turbofan engines, the cabin can be arranged for 6 or 8 passengers, with the longer range model having shortened passenger area to provide more space in the aft fuselage for fuel tanks. The engines are mounted nacelles on the sides of the aft fuselage, and the wings are equipped with single slotted flaps. The wingtip fuel tanks distinguish the design from other aircraft having similar functions. The Model 35A is the upgraded Model 35 with the new engines and an extended range of 2,700 miles. Fuel capacity of 931 US gallons. Refueling accomplished at ground level through each wingtip tank, introduced in 76, replacing the 35. There was over 600 of these, the production line ending in 1993. Simulation. So the 35A for FlightSim 2024, it's a complete overhaul. Rather than just a simple port, they've rebuilt the aircraft from the ground up. Over the course of about 10 months, the 2020 release was transformed into a fully native 2024 experience, including all the expansion packs, they're all bulked in on this, plus a new long-range configuration for the long tip tanks, and optional ventral fin mod for improved stability. The new version introduces 2024's modern system architecture, including modern electrical, hydraulic, pneumatic and fuel systems, backed by 179 working circuit breakers. You'll also find significantly expanded environmental and immersion effects with the improved exterior icing, surface rain effects, and enhanced windshield rain and bloom effects, and introducing the new sound engine from Boris AudioWorks. A major focus on the 2024 overhaul is the long-term ownership and operational depth. We've added a comprehensive wear and tear simulation and a full failure system for free flight, where this level of persistence and maintenance isn't provided by the sim's career mode. Failures can be managed using 3 modes: mean time between failure, speed, and schedule. There's a lot of stuff added to this, right? So, you now have the latest version of CCleaner. Stop spamming me. Jesus. Right, get in here now, we'll try this again. Now I'm going to load in the aircraft. We probably won't fly it, but we'll fire it up because we're going to show you some interesting scenery where this airplane just couldn't operate, right? So we're in a Medivac configuration. We'll go with that, right? And Bijani then, departure, VNLK. But I'm going to go to this new airport up the road, right? Now you'd never get a Learjet in here, but I just wanted to show you, right? So if we go into the parking dock, and we'll move into the summertime, bring it to like daytime, a few clouds. And we're bringing it to daytime. Just to kind of show you, because I want to show you the scenery here as well. All right. Did you get standard tickets for Warbirds? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like we're staying in Monaco, and then we'll just travel up and down to the air show each day, you know. Right. All sorts of crazy scenery around us. Not for a second do we think we can fly here. This is more about looking at this machine we have here. So the 2024 version of the Learjet, yes, we have 2024 features such as the walk around mode. We can interact, click on the critical components of the aircraft, right? Things like remove the chocks and all the jazz. So we'll do all that. And the door, open the door. As you'll notice, it doesn't automatically transport you in like a dodgy transporter. You can just click the button and away you go. So we'll hop into the aircraft. And again, it's going to be it's familiarity, right? I mean, you know, we've seen this aircraft before. It's not a brand new aircraft. They have made considerable changes to it. Just got a little bit of light in here in the cabin. So we'll explore it from the exterior. And it's got to be, I mean, it's looking gorgeous. This was always a very nice looking aircraft, right? Slower speeds down a little bit. And what I love, they've included the other cabin variants with this machine as well. So we can go like an air ambulance or cargo or our executive transport. What makes this pretty cool is, I mean, this is the perfect aircraft to, you know, accompany this by using SkyOps that we were talking about earlier on with SayIntentions. Literally load in and say, hey, I'm on the ramp here. I'm air ambulance. I want a mission. Or craft your own mission. It changes your flight simming experience. Class, right? But anyway, I continue to talk about this. So yeah, so it has the 2024 native features such as walk around and all the jazz, right? Or on air. Yes, Malky. Yes, you can absolutely use this aircraft on air as well. It's a cool looking jet, and we have a lot of options with it. So we'll get in and have a look at it. In terms of the visuals, though, yes, some of the liveries are, we've seen these before, but it's how everything is kind of put together and the details shown on the aircraft and how well these look. Very, very nice, right? So we'll jump inside and have a look at some of the options when it comes, that's inside, when it comes to our cockpit, right? Most importantly, our new tablet, right? So what we have here, they're using the inbuilt tablet, right? Sarah Doman, good to see you. And if you go down to your more apps, we do have a standalone app for this aircraft because we have the Learjet 35A page. And we have lots of options. Let's go to the utilities page. Do you want the ground power unit? Shades in the cabin up or down? And we can see these back here. Shades are down. Or indeed we can go shades up. Right? You get the idea. There's a cow, right? We'll turn off the GPU for the minute. Cabin door open or closed, cabin light, luggage light, cargo, upper cargo, rear door or rear cargo, and cargo nets. And then you have some tips. Generator off, park and brake on. For career mode, you can set up the cargo visuals here. For free flight, the payload will load the cargo for you. Okay, let's go back. Failure page. Okay, failures are currently turned off. We can turn them on. Mean time between failure, or schedule them, right? So if we turn them on, where's this now? Show all, hide, or failed. Failure type, show all. These are all the failures that we can do, and there's like so many of them. So many failures that we can do. We can arm a failure to happen. Just show me electric failures. See the way you can filter all this? I just want to have an electrical failure. Generator left is going to fail at such a time. Right? Brilliant. So they're the failures, right? The fuel page, our weight and balance. I think this is brilliant. Fuel truck, end fuel service, call the truck. Call the truck. ATC fuel truck. Well, that does. There's our fuel truck. That was handy. He got here fast. So we can say, right, tip tanks. He's now refueling. You can also request the ATC fuel truck using the ATC widget. That's what I meant by that. Okay. So we can put in, well, how much fuel do you want? So now that we've called the fuel truck is now on site, and he's now floating in the air, but he's given us fuel, right? I'm on the side. I'm near Mount Everest, so you're not going to get perfect elevation for the mesh. But you get the idea, right? Pretty cool, right? Does it have a button punishing... Oh, wait. Does it have button pushing failures? Just for me. Right? So end the fuel service. We'll go back. Our pneumatic page. See the way it's showing us all the valves? These are all interactive. These are all working as you're flying. So you know, like the engine visualizer, right? This is the same story here. And that's for the pneumatics. Avionics page, what unit do we want? I've gone for the GTN 750. You'll see it loaded in there. We can swap that out for the TDS one, or we can go for the GNS 530. Quick flick of a button and it changes your avionics. Pretty cool, right? Options page. So the clacker inside, you can have that on or off. The trim, it's another one, sound on or mute. Clock hours, failures active on or off. Performance takeoff and performance landing pages. So you can see there's quite a bit here. And also the interior is going to be dictated by the livery you go for. Are you search and rescue, or ambulance, cargo or passenger? All right. Clipped out Panda, good to see you, bud. Commander Balor says, for those who purchased the aircraft through the Microsoft Flight Sim Marketplace, please be aware that the version available in the Marketplace is significantly outdated compared to the version offered directly by FlySimware. Yeah, 100%. FlySimware, like they release updates weekly, you know. Two dogs, you take care, buddy. Enjoy dinner. What's for dinner? So let me see. Utilities, GPU. We'll leave all that off. We'll just do an L. Start up here. Close the cabin door. Sounds of the door are a bit kind of mad. There's our peoples. And we'll start putting some power into this machine and then see what happens. We can disappear the tablet if you don't want it there. Circuit breakers. They're all modelled here, lads. We got a lot of options in this aircraft. A couple of nice kind of creature comforts around the place as well. So this is the cockpit. This is the flight deck of the Learjet, and we can go in now and start messing with all sorts of systems. You can disappear the yoke, so we'll go with battery 1. Battery 2. Jesus, how do we turn that off? Should that be making that sound? Why is she making takeoff trim, hydraulics, stall? Landing? No. Landing gear is good. Don't worry about it, Murph. It's just the ambulance siren. Very strange, isn't it? She didn't make that sound before. Is the battery low, maybe? Right. Something is terribly, terribly worrying me. Oh, be Janie. Yak alert, don't worry. It's just the ambulance. Yeah, I don't know what's causing that, lads. Very strange, isn't it? Warp core breach. Why are we getting these sounds? It's not throttle. It's not rudders. Park and brake. Uh-oh. We can't engage the park. Is it like hydraulics? Anyone have an idea? Let's do a little restart.
So look at this big E just...
Could it be the oxygen? I don't think so. Do you know what it could be? It could be the cabin pressure. Now that I'm thinking about it, because we're up so high, 12,500. I wonder, is it the cabin pressure? Let's check. No, we're good. A simple restart will fix anything. Anyway, battery's on. And our systems are coming alive. That was most odd, wasn't it? Master warning. Right, hang on. It's got to be cabin. It's got to be, let me see. Let's see here now. Don't all panic together. I'll sort it. Have we got a button to get rid of it? Jesus. Or pull the alert fuse. Now, if I was a cabin lights, no. Jesus. Spare, windshield, anti-skid, nose, aircraft, pitch, lights, nav. Why do they make so many inline fuses? Ignition, pitch, air. Jesus, there's some amount of these. Air data sensor? Can't remember. I ran into this while. Oh, Rick had the same problem. Okay, so it is a Murphy thing. Or it's not a Murphy thing. Fuel jettison. Jesus, that was a problem. Turn that off. There's got to be a button. It has to be. It has to do with the with our altitude. Has to. Ailerons, AC buses, fuel quantity, spoiler flaps, gear, instrument cabin pressure. No, it doesn't seem to be cabin pressure. Warning. Turn failures off. Failures are off. Failures are off. Don't know what that sound is. Right, we'll get some power into it and let's just see. Pumps on. Gens off. Ignition. Start. Trim alert. I don't think it's trim. Trim looks good. We'll see, we'll get some power in. Check the alert lights to see. Low fuel. It's hardly something like fuel, lads, is it? It's not low fuel. Okay. I'm trying to say... There, we found it. Stupid thing. There's a horn silence button. We found it! Bloody hell. Never had that come on before. There is a button there to silence it. What's a cabin altitude? Interesting. Alright. Sounds are really, really good on this. Generators. Right gen reset. Right gen's on. Pitot heat. Landing light, stall warning. Emergency battery. Autopilot, leave it off. Static source, radome. Pitot heat. It's the cabin altitude. 100%. Has to be, right? It's on auto mode, so we'll see what happens. Okay. Auto thrust arm. Takeoff trim, don't worry about that for the moment. 12,200, grand. What else do we want here? What are we looking for here? Avionics master coming on. What altitude? It's like 12,000 or like 12,200. It's just a strange thing. I have the latest update, so that could be what's upsetting it. You know what I mean? Cabin altitude is a problem. Takeoff trim is screaming at me as well. So that sounds like cabin altitude. Yeah. Right, we'll give it a second to kind of do its stuff. Let me see. How do we pressurize this machine? Alright, let's see if that fixes it. Probably won't though. So, anyway, what we want to listen to, the new Boris sounds, right? Decent sounds, right? Outside the aircraft. Timmy! You're sitting very high up in the... Ah, Jesus. It's really bad in this. You know. Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. We fixed him. That's shagged, so. Right. Let's have a listen to the sounds. Them sounds are amazing. Do you like that kind of gentle kind of spool? Those sounds are really good, lads. That sound isn't so great. Did you hit a bass? Them sounds are absolutely fantastic. They're real good. Right. Shut her down. Great sounds, man. Chop! Chop! Right. If you click the yellow pen, you can hide the yoke. Oh, come on. Brilliant. I need to figure out how we fix the sounds. But there we have it anyway. Apart from me at a very high altitude, that's what it's not liking. And clearly I'm doing something wrong. But the new Boris sounds, they're absolutely brilliant, aren't they? They're fantastic. I like a challenge like that with an aircraft, so I will be flying this soon. Yeah, just stay outside. Yeah. Turn off the battery, sure, you don't need it. Right. Anyway, the Learjet 35. What else? We're up here now. This is from Aerosoft. The Namche Bazaar to Base Camp. This is around $15. Volume 3 of Mt Everest Airport. It brings it all the way to the top of the world. Scenery includes the Sian Bosch airstrip located above the scenic tourist town of Namche Bazaar. It's the last landing strip before you get to Mt Everest. Ooh. I don't think I have the latest upgrades. Yeah, I think that's what the issue is, Rick. It could be just... It could be just that I've a dodgy version, or they've, you know, put it in Murph mode. But let's check out the scenery while we're here, right? So we've seen this before with Lucklet. Now Lucklet's only down the road here, and we've seen this before when it comes to the scenery because they add in so many things. Yes, there's plenty of livestock there rambling around, but just listen to the sounds, right? And you'll start seeing the detail here. Like, you've monks walking around the place, you've people walking around the place, right? Jesus, you look shagged already, lads. So they're, you know, and like, just look at where we are in the world with Mount Everest. I mean, look at that. Isn't that absolutely spectacular, right? Murph, will you be covering the GA Airvan from Simworks? I did before. I didn't look at the 2024 native version though, so yeah, we'll probably have to do that. You know, what a location, right? So we'll follow the SL monk. Ah, how are you, Jimmy? Barefoot and everything, look. Jimmy's out for the walk. And we'll come down this way. There's Jimmy's brother, Timmy. Yeah, you're looking well, Timmy. They don't say much, but great listeners, right? Hot biscuits from the top. There's like other voices you can hear. Man, look at the view here. It's like he's singing. There's a dog and a cat. They're all animated, isn't it brilliant? There go the hill walkers. They're on their expedition. Man, the LOD here is very good, isn't it? So there's a couple of lads camping. A couple of monks walking around the place. More wildlife. Man alive. So this is where the airport is, right? And you can kind of see like the village, and this is the last base camp before you get up to Mount Everest. Jesus, you might get a signal there, Chief, yeah. Man alive, look at the views here. Now, if memory serves me, there's a hotel, or there should be a hotel up the road this way. What have we got here now? Just a building. That looks like a monastery. But if memory serves me, there is... Yeah, it's over here, look. So we have a hotel over here. And rotary aircraft definitely feel at home here because they've included a number of helipads. More people walking, look. You could nearly be wanting friggin'... You would nearly want oxygen up here, wouldn't you? So there's our helipad. Sound from the windsock. We have a hotel here. Park regulations. Entry fee for foreigners or nationals. Yeah, the price is non-refundable. National park declared in 1976. Elevation is 2,300 meters. Jesus. Snow leopard, musk deer, and a red panda. This is a hotel. Ew, very fancy. Imagine staying in this hotel with that view. I mean, would you come on out of it, would you? That's nuts. Jesus, I'd be shagged just going up those. I've made it to the top of the summit. Hotel Everest view. Go on up there quick. I'd be knackered just after the stairs. Right. Would it yet be considered a national? Maybe. We'll zoom out here just to give you a proper idea of the view and the location look. Isn't this absolutely insane? I think it's further down, not this way. I think it's further down to our right. That's where Lukla is. So you kind of fly up the valley, or near enough the valley, until you get to this area here. And that's where the airport is. So there's the nearest village, right? Even the way the village is built looks friggin' nuts, doesn't it? Look at that. Seems to be struggling loading in some of the buildings. And then we're up by the airport. Man alive, the detail is absolutely fantastic. She's taking his photograph on the tractor. Yep. There's queues to go up Everest now? Really? Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
That's very good, isn't it? It's just one of those areas. I mean, you're not going to necessarily spend a lot of time here. It's just one of those areas. That's a restaurant. You're just going to fly to this to have that as your background view. You know what I mean? And like, what a view this is. Look at the state of this. Oh, London Controller's here. Jamie, welcome in. Oh, come here, the very man. Jamie, do you know the Learjet 35? Any idea what the alarm is when I hop into the cockpit? Have a listen, look. I'll turn on the battery. Now I can silence it, but is that like I think it's cabin altitude, is it? God, yeah. That's what I thought when I heard it. I don't know what it is. It could be just unique to this build of the aircraft, or the fact that we're up beside Mount Everest. Either or, right? You know. But you never heard that one? Balls. Right. Look at the view here. I mean, lads, isn't that spectacular? It's unbelievable here. Look, we got something else over there, look. Ooh. Ooh, very nice. So there's plenty of scenery kind of built into it. But like, isn't that a view? As he goes through the ground. Like, isn't that a view, lads? Absolutely superb looking, isn't it? It's gorgeous, man. It's absolutely gorgeous. Can we get the sun coming up this way, so? Oh, look at that. And like, if we kind of change the season to what it's actually doing now. In January. I mean, Jesus, look at that. Isn't that spectacular, isn't it? It is beautiful. So that's the region covered in snow. It's unbelievable, lads, isn't it? Just gorgeous. What a part of the world to go kind of exploring in. And there's loads of like little details and stuff around. We've got another helipad here. In actual fact, one of these is called Murphy. I kid you not. You know, us Murphys are handy for stuff. Sure, there's people down here. So the kids are out playing and everything. Having the crack, so they are, look. Yes. Brilliant. That's frightfully realistic. Jesus. Right. What's up here now? He looks like a Murphy. Maybe not. Look at the views, lads. Bloody hell. Absolutely insane looking. So there's helipads there, and then what there's a hotel up over the far side. Go up here now, look for a sec. Ooh, mind now, Murph. Imagine living up here. We got a helipad up here. That's insane. Could you imagine like the winds? What's live weather actually like up here? Here's me and my beautiful sunny day. What's live weather doing? On up here for a second. Live weather. Live time. It's 4:20 in the morning. So, bring it back a bit. We could be just looking at live weather. Isn't it mad, isn't it? You could be struggling with live weather. Like, we've flown up here before, but like, I've never realised there was so much detail in the little villages and stuff. You know what I mean? Absolutely brilliant, lads. So, Volume 3, it includes this airport, a number of different helipads, and it is the last base camp before you get up to the summit, which is up there. And it's absolutely gorgeous, lads. Isn't it only savage? They seem to think so too. Haven't we tried it? We've landed on it, yeah. Group flight in the Kodiak. Right, Thomas? Active Sky will probably do a better job, Malky, for sure, yeah. That's very good, man. I'm well impressed with this. What an interesting place to go flying in as well. And like, you talk about challenging runway. Kodiak, maybe. Twin Otter should handle it. Right? Like, you consider this Tulukla. Welcome to the National Park Heritage. That's writing I can't understand. And then we have the National Park. For your information, every tourist must have the trekking permit and the park fee. Jesus. Camp only in the designated campsites. Do not leave litter on your campsite. Do not pollute the water. Do not harass the wildlife. That rules us out on every single account. But I'm well impressed. So, Mount Everest Volume 3. A Learjet. Wait, a Lear would just be an accident report in the making. Yeah, we shouldn't be flying up here, yes. I've tortured my Kodiak a lot around Everest. Dakey, really? Brilliant.
Hello there.
Let me see. Is Beerball welcome in? Thank you for the follow. I'm kind of impressed with that. It's pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty good. Right, so what we're going to do next, friends. Things are going to get very technical here now in a moment. Because, friends, we're going to be looking at some hardware. Hardware, right? Now, all of this better work and not break. Hang on now. That's the wrong button completely. We'll press this one. And Abby Janey, you're very welcome in. So what we're looking at here now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the MOZA MRP or the Rudder Pedals, MOZA Rudder Pedals. That's what we're going to have a look at here now this evening, right? And there's been plenty of content already about these. Effectively what they are, these are a set of rudder pedals you can use for your flight simming, right? And they retail... With the Jesus. Flyby Gaz, welcome in, lads. Thank you very much indeed for the raid. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're keeping well. We're just going to have a chat about these new rudder pedals. And I've set up cameras and all this to make it look terribly sophisticated with me camera. But anyway, we're going to talk about them because rudder pedals, right? Myself. Rudder pedals are an incredible way to really expand on your flight sim experience. And what I mean by that is, if you don't use rudder pedals, if you've never used rudder pedals and then you suddenly start using them, a few things will start to happen. A few things. One, the level of immersion that you have becomes staggering. Two, the control you have over the aircraft, after a little bit of time, you'll wonder how you ever managed to fly without using rudder pedals, okay? So, what we have here from MOZA, these retail at €369. Or if we put that into other gadgets, $349 US or £329. It's not bad. The closest comparison to something like this, yes, you have the wind wing stuff or wind control stuff. The rudder pedals I use the Thrustmaster TPRs. That's the pendular pedals, right? Because I've always found they were the most realistic outside of buying like Virtual Fly's friggin' Ruddo the yoke or Ruddo the rudder, right? Which are £1,000. Yeah, that's overkill. These guys kind of come in somewhere between, your entry level and your kind of medium to high end. They've situated them right in the middle. And for that price, I don't think they're too bad. €349 for rudder pedals. $599, I think, are what Thrustmaster are at. Or $499. They're considerably more expensive. So the question is here, well, what are we getting here from MOZA? Well, let's get in and try and mess around with cameras to see if this all actually works. So we have, brilliant! So we have cameras, right? And these are the pedals here, situated on the desk. And our side camera here is just a side profile. And we'll use that camera to kind of maneuver around just to show you some of the details. But to explain what these pedals are, they're not force feedback. They use springs. On this particular build, I've also included their damper. And what the damper, we'll get into what it all does now in a minute. But effectively, rudder pedals without any sort of dampening, that's pretty much what we're used to. There's like this spring effect that will recenter the spring or recenter the rudder pedal back to its zeroed or neutral position, right? As they move around on the desk. A point to note, these are very heavy. These are considerably heavier than my Thrustmaster TPRs. And the grips that come with them underneath, these guys here, they're very, very good. They don't move once weight is put down on top of them, okay? So the springs, we have a couple of options with the springs. And what we can do straight off the bat, MOZA have made this incredibly handy because with the spring, we'll put it up here under the camera. See the way we have the bigger hoop to get your finger into? It means that you can adjust the springs without any sort of engineering qualifications whatsoever. See the spring, right? And that means you have the choice of using 1, 2, or no springs if you like. Now you might be asking, Murph, why would you not want to use springs with rudder pedals? Well, for example, if flying helicopters is your thing, there's no real spring movement, i.e., the pedals aren't supposed to whip back to their center position. Even in fixed wing aircraft, there's no real centering of rudder pedals unless, of course, there's wind hitting the control surface, right? So by removing just one spring, taking out one spring, this has a huge impact on how these rudder pedals behave, right? Now we do have, as I said, we have the damper on it as well, but we'll get into that now in a little bit. We can also remove the second spring. If we wanted to operate this with no springs, right? So we'll take this guy off. So now my rudder pedals have no springs. And if you notice, well, there's no return. The pedals just stay exactly where they stay. Again, very good for helicopter pilots. Not so much when it comes to airplanes. Your feet have to do all the work, right? But the self-centering mechanism is gone, obviously, when you've no springs. Also, because I'm using the damper, I do have some resistance without having the springs. So if I wanted to fly helis and only fly helis, this is the way I do it, right? But we're not flying helis, so we continue on. So I can't remember what spring was which. I imagine the small one goes on the inside. So we'll go ahead and put the springs back on. And just to show you how relatively easy it is to fit these, it's spring on spring, right? So there's one spring on, and here's the other spring coming on. Simples. And now you can see that the pedals, they'll go back to where they need to. So that's your standard pedals. Now, there's a lot of adjustments with this. These rudder pedals offer some of the most advanced customizable options when it comes to getting the setting just right. And these are physical adjustments. And what I mean by that is, yes, you have your foot pedals complete with toe brake, right? So you have your toe brakes, and there's quite a nice bit of resistance in there. You can kind of see here on the side, you got springs here, right? We can adjust the angle that these pedals sit, so if they're too far forward or too far back. And you'll notice that they have these heel guards in here, meaning, yes, you can drop your foot completely into the pedal and the heel guard will hold your foot in there. But what if you wanted to use these pedals closer to what you'd find in a real airplane, whereby you would have to keep your heel on the floor and then your toes would come up to actuate the toe brake? Well, you can. Underneath, and we'll use the other camera for this, but at the back of this heel pedal, we can just remove 2 screws and you can operate these pedals just as you can with real rudders in an airplane, heel on the ground. Or if you like the design, keep your feet resting. Over on the side, and again, I'll bring the camera in to make this a lot closer. These pedals right now are set to their most forward position. So when we raise these up, we can actually bring these pedals facing a lot closer to us. So which is pretty cool, right? So what else can we show you? Also, see this range of movement? So that's like full deflection left and right. We can increase or decrease that range of movement because we have 2 adjusting screws located just underneath the top bar here. We can get in and say, right, well, I want less movement. I want that to be my cutoff, or you can go beyond that, right? And if you look at the design of it, we'll bring them back a little bit. If you look at the design here, they're designed not to pass the length of their feet, which is important because, well, if you're going to put this thing up close to a wall, for example, it'll hold in well. The only issue you have, of course, is with the damper The damper will go a little bit beyond it, especially when you start moving the rudder pedals. So just be aware of that. You might need a little bit more clearance, maybe a drop of wood, or, you know, like a plank or something in front of it, and that'll do the job there. So if we or turn them, right? So we're looking at two camera views here. So our top down is going to show you kind of the side profile, and then our other camera, well, that's going to show you underneath. There's not much going on underneath. We have these 4 pads, these landing pads, which you can take them off. So, you know, if you want, you can, there's bits here to take them off, just other Allen keys, and then you can bolt these directly onto a platform if you wanted to, right? And it's typical MOZA stuff. They're giving you all the options of what you can do to adjust. But speaking of adjustments, these two areas here, if we overturn the unit, and as I said, it weighs a shagging ton. If we show you this way, right, and if we look at it kind of here, I just want to show you these screws here. These guys here, when you adjust them, they're just like screw points. You adjust them, and that will allow you increase or decrease the movement of the rudders. When it comes to connectability, this is genius. Yes, they can go by a standard square USB connection, one of them fellas. You know, like your standard kind of printer cable kind of stuff. USB on one side, right? Or they can use data cable stuff, which looks like a phone line or an Ethernet cable, which means you can now daisy chain these into the likes of your AB6 or your AB9 or your yoke, saving you precious USB connections. Either or, it doesn't mind which one you connect to. All right. So that's how we connect them up. And we'll get into the software and all that jazz now in a moment. But looking at the equipment, right? So if I do a bit of jiggery pokery here, how's this going to work? This is going to be hilarious now, right? So if I get rid of that, here's me, and well, I'm going to do some stuff, right? There's me, look. And now we're going to travel on this camera to show you what the crack is all about, because I want to show you some of the details, right? So here we have where the connections are. Don't drop them, Murph, they're heavy. So we have our transit or USB connections. There's the two screws we're talking about. See the screw head here and a screw head there, right? That's how they connect. All right. What else do we have? Here's the back of the toe pedals. You can see the springs in there. Now, in terms of adjusting them, I'm sure you can, but I don't think you need to. If you want to adjust the angle of the pedals, jeez, the weight, right? You can see you have all these markings on it, just located here, and they're showing you the angle in which you currently have it loaded in or locked in on. And there's one of these on either side of each rudder pedal, okay? Meaning that if you want to adjust it, you loosen up both sides, and then the whole unit can adjust to the angle that you'd like. Nice and handy. All right. So we'll drop this camera down for a second, because I do want to show you the stuff, right? Okay, so that's as far as that camera goes. We'll turn it around this way. There's me. Right, here's the cameras, right? Now, we'll do something like this, because I want to show you, apart from the weight, because they are heavy, right? Oh, now, get in there, you good thing. And we'll come back into this, right? There's me chin. Right, so what we're looking at here, the rudder pedal design. You know, I've listened to XP, and I agree with them. It's like something that came out of an alien ship. It's kind of mad, isn't it? But they're on the ground, so I don't really mind or worry about them. I think they're interesting looking, but I think they're fine, right? The springs that I was talking about, well, that's these here in situ. And again, if you wanted to remove a spring, pull out the side without stabbing your finger, pull out the side, and that's a spring gone. And that will considerably loosen up the resistance you have on the mechanism. And you can remove both springs if you wish. Okay. What else do we have? So the damper. Now the damper is actually a separate purchase, would you believe? That's the damper down here. This kind of, basically what it's doing, it's simulating that of like hydraulic input onto your rudder pedals. It's an extra purchase. It's like 60 or 70 bucks, right? But what the damper does, it alleviates the springy motion. So if I were to loosen this damper, I think it's this way. So see the way I let go of the rudder pedals and just see them kind of snap back into position. See that? That's with the damper off. So that means I can physically feel that there's a return of the rudders, so I kind of know where the zero area is. I know when these rudders are level, I'll be able to feel that in my feet. However, if we were to increase the resistance of the damper, right? And now, if you watch as I let go, a bit more there, Sheridan, a little bit more. The damper slows down that response something fierce. And we can go more. There's loads of settings on the damper. Like, you can literally bring these that they don't, well, that's kind of locked them. They almost don't move at all, right? So 2 hands to move the shagging things, but you see now they barely respond to the center, thus increasing so much resistance. You would give yourself an absolutely shocking good workout by having the damper on full. And then to alleviate it, we can turn a little switch on the side of the damper, make it nice and easy again, and then they return to the normal. All right. So that's the damper down here on the side. And as I said, it's a separate purchase. You buy it, you attach it, and you have this kind of adjustment wheel here. See this adjuster here? You literally just turn this guy. It's like a little click. You feel the clicks. You'll hear the clicks, in fact. And that's either increasing or decreasing the resistance of the damper. I'm unsure if that's a necessity. I think the rudder pedals on their own without the damper are going to be absolutely incredible. I like the way they gave us an option, though, especially if you're into your heli flying, where you don't want that real springy return to center on the hardware itself. Do you know what I mean? Now, in terms of, trying to go back to this camera here, in terms of trying to get an idea of, whatchamacallit, the overall kind of size and width of these, right? Well, our trusty stick of measurement. So the overall width of these puppies, they come in at roughly, what's that? Roughly 53 centimeters, right? Roughly 53. And if we were to go from foot to foot, from outside to outside, it's 53 centimeters. Some people were saying this was too long or they're too wide. I don't think they are. I mean, in real airplanes, okay, some of them are a little bit closer together, but the Thrustmaster, for example, which I have on the ground, hang on, I'll measure these puppies. The Thrustmaster are, they're about 50 across. So you're only talking 3 or 4 centimeters of a distance. They might look a little bit wider than what they are, but I assure you they're not. What is the real, what's that in real measurement? So centimeters. Just not 2 centimeters over there. Just not 2 centimeters over there. Jesus. Inches, I suppose. Well, hang on. Inches. Is it inches? I don't know what that is. 14, 15 inches, right? But anyway, the point I'm making is inside real aircraft, you can measure them as well. Between pedal to pedal, they're very, very similar, right? They are very similar, depending on the aircraft. Inches and feet, right? Okay, well, you have to be awkward, don't you? Are these double-sided? Ah, brilliant! Right, what are they? Oh, they're centimeters as well. This is an American measurement, and it's in centimeters. Can someone explain that to me? 21 inches. There you go. 21 inches. So the width of them are quite good. Now, to adjust them, a trustable Allen key set here. And as I said, it's literally, you put them in the side. We'll loosen up this just to show you the angle in which we can move these pedals, right? So, is that loosened? Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Let's have a look here now. So, I don't know if you guys can see that on the, hang on. Come hither. So if you look at the camera here now, right, that's it in its default position that we had it, and there's our toe brake, right? But we can lock them all the way up like that. And you might say, Jesus Murph, that's going to be shocking. That's going to be shocking, steep for your feet. Well, it might be, but the point I'm making is you can remove the heel grips, right? Say heel, say grip, say heel grip. Heel grip. You can remove the heel grip, which is this guy down here, and operate these as, heel on the floor, straight forward and back rudder pedals. It works really, really well. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it's a case of, for flight simming, there's no real issue. Depending on the airplane that you're flying in, 172, if you wanted to compare real with real, 172, a little bit shorter. They're not as wide, but there's not much in it. But as a flight simmer, I can promise you that's not going to have any impact. what's so good about these MOZA pedals is the fact that they are so adjustable. And these are so adjustable. Now, you might be saying, if you're using that heel to toe, because your heel is going to be like that, right? And then to use your toe brakes, you come up in the toe brakes. So that position would suit a lot of people if they wanted to use these like conventional rudder pedals, or indeed, if you just want to, somewhere to rest your foot. I put in the wrong size. Somewhere to rest your foot, right? But then you can absolutely just adjust them, drop them down, and then relock them, and then they stay in that position. But why I think, these pedals in particular are very, very good, lads, it's the sheer amount of adjustment that you can make with them. You can dial in the perfect fit in terms of the angle, and also these plates here for your toes. These are on screws on either side, so you can actually track these. We have 2 mountable screws, right? 2 on each side, and we have 3 possible holes. So you can move these further up or further back, so they're properly capturing the length of your foot. You know what I mean? And what else we have? The design of them is quite interesting, because when you look at pedals like this, particularly if anyone who's used the likes of, say, the MFGs or that before, your foot, the movement of your feet always kind of used to go out and then back in again because it was traveling along an axis, right? And this is where the difference is. Like when you consider the pendular pedals, the TPRs, the transition of your feet, they're like this. They go forward and back. These sort of pedals usually used to do something like this, right? These don't do it. And if they do, I don't really feel it, because see these gears here, or these actuators, these arms, see the way when they turn, they're keeping the track movement or the forward movement of the pedals very, very straight. There's very little. There is a little bit, but there's very little. I mean, your foot is starting here, right? So here's a line, and then they end up slightly over here. There's very little in that. And that's all accomplished by using these little actuator arms on the sides, look. Pretty cool, right? What else can we tell you about them? Well, we have our technical stuff we can tell you, right? So they combine precision engineering with robust metal frame and high-grade linkage system. They're metal. The heel gadget, the thing is metal, right? And it's nicely polished. They do look nice considering they're going to be on the ground, right? Adjustable pedal angles, customizable center force, and optional damping provide tailored control for every flying style. High-resolution sensors deliver smooth, accurate braking and responsive rudder input, and seamless integration with the MOZA flight base, flight sticks, yokes, throttle quadrants, not to mention their software. The MOZA software is very, very good, right? So the precision that you're looking at, the metal frame construction, yes. The precision swing arm, that's what we're talking about here. This is the precision swing arm, right? And we can adjust that. So the swing arm mechanism, plus 30 degrees of rotation, up to 15 centimeters of travel, right? And we can adjust it. Our fully adjustable pedals, the high precision Hall sensor braking. So under here, this location right here, that's what the Hall sensor is. That's what's reading that movement when it comes to the brake pedals being engaged. And they do work really, really well. There's no spikes, there's no noise. They just work really, really well. Interchangeable springs, we've already had a look at those. The ecosystem integration, be it transit or indeed on the USB, right? And that's what you get. The only thing that's extra on these is the adjustable damper. That's an added extra. You can buy that. It's like 69 euros. I'm unsure is this needed. I like the way there's an option there. If you're into your heli flying and you basically, you just don't want that return to center sensation. That's where your dampener comes in. It gives it that kind of feel of, hydraulic input. That's the idea. Every time we kind of adjust this little damper, it reduces that spring returning. See what I mean? See how slow it is? That's more natural. But the only thing is you have to exert a lot of force. If you take the springs out of there, or even one of the springs out of there, it'll loosen it all out. Do you know what I mean? JJ Stevens, yes indeed, correct and right. To demo off. My job here, lads, and I hope you understand this. My job when it comes to anything, when it comes to hardware, my job is not to sell you this. I don't even do the affiliate. I was offered affiliate links. I don't do affiliate links. I'm not here to sell it. I'm here to try You tell you try to turn off. I'm here to try and explain it to you in the best way I can. So then you guys can take that information and choose to purchase it or not purchase it. And I want to make that very clear. There's no incentives for Murph to be like, oh, this is the best thing ever. Everyone should own one. That's not the case. I believe in products and hardware. If I find them good and they are good, I'm going to tell you about them. I'm going to share my insights on them, or we're going to go exploring them. If I think they're not good, I'll tell you they're not good. So that's how this works, right? Integrity to me is absolutely everything. Because if I say something to you and it turns out to be not true, well, you're not going to stay here, are you? Do you know what I mean? So I do like this with the springs. So the return to sensor or return to center, take one spring off, turn on the dampener a little bit. I mean, look at that. That's deadly, isn't it? Look at that. Look. Eesh. Or tighten this up a little. One little spring. Look at that. That's what you want. They've almost stopped. That is pretty much what you get in a real aircraft, especially like a 172. The rudder pedals, like, they don't snap back into a centered movement. That's more natural. They do go back, but nice and slowly. Remember, it's work off gravity, pulleys, wires, cables, right? All this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I think with the damper, it's a great option, especially if you want to be flying choppers, especially because everything's so fluid, and you can't, even with the damper on in one spring, you can't actually feel the center point. See how smooth this movement is. You actually cannot feel the center pivot point. And for flying helicopters, that's huge, lads. That's massive. So that's the idea behind it. Any questions so far? Any questions on this? I've used them now. I did my heli flying the other day in them, and it's comparing these to my TPRs, the Thrustmaster ones, for heli flying without a shadow of a doubt. Flying kind of fixed wing, I did like the options I have with this, particularly with the heel to ground, just taking off these back heel rests, because I don't need them. I like having my foot on the ground, because that's more kind of real that you get in an airplane. You know what I mean? But I thought it's been very good. Do they have actual toe brakes? Yeah, they got toe brakes. They're the toe brakes. Roy, see my question above. Sorry, Roy, missed that. Hang on. Anti-torque, that's the one, Northland Air, that's the one. Roy's question above. Hang on, Roy, we'll get to you. Roy, I can't see it. Maybe it didn't post. You meant locking toe brakes. As can you lock the toe brake down? I don't think so. Why would you want to lock the toe brake? As in not use them for toe brakes? I don't think you can. This one, Murph, if you compare these TP with the Thrustmaster TPR, what do you think of the build quality? These are every bit, in terms of build quality, MOZA are doing great things. The build quality is savage. You can see that on all their gear. The Thrustmaster ones, as I said, I mean, they're bulletproof. These are the very same. This is strong, hard, everything that moves, anything that's important, be it wires and all that, they're completely hidden away. You can't get access to them. Do you know what I mean? Build quality here, it weighs, like, this is heavier. This is heavier than the TPRs. And anyone who uses the TPRs, they're excellent pedals, don't get me wrong. But these are a real option. These are a real option. If you're going to move, or you're considering moving from, the Thrustmaster TPRs, why would you want to look at MOZA? These are more adjustable. So you do have a couple of options to make these that little bit more adjustable. And with a damper in there, it can really impact on your helo flying to use them as anti-torque pedals. Is there enough to justify the cost if you already have, good rudders? That's only your decision. I can't tell you, me using these, I prefer these flying helis than the TPRs, because I have that. It's so, that level of smoothness, I can't get that from the TPRs. And you can adjust the TPRs, don't get me wrong, but these, they've thought of everything. We can extend the range of travel, we can reduce the range of travel. You can do a lot of stuff with these, do you know? They're engineered compared to being built, if that makes sense. Maybe. saying, where's this? You can do Maydays. Yeah, 100%. What are they like with airliners? Yeah, they're grand. I mean, you can dial in the settings physically on the device, i.e. how much resistance you want. Do you want them very loose and easy to move, or do you want to exert a lot of force? You can do that by adjusting the hardware directly itself, by removing springs or putting springs on or off, right? That's where these guys come from, all right? So, you know, if you don't want any springs in there, literally just pull the spring out. And that's how easy they made this. And now there's no resistance. Zero resistance to these pedals coming forward or back. They'll just go where you want. If that's something that you're considering, then I would recommend you get the damper, because the damper will put in a bit of resistance for you. You know, the damper is an extra $70, so it brings the price up a little bit. Yeah, but I'd recommend it if you're into your helo flying. I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, it's purely down to your style of flying. You know, like you can almost lock these. If you turn that damper on full whack, you can barely move these pedals. It almost locks them, which is nuts, right? But yeah, they look nice, better than CH pedals. So here's the thing, right? If you are transitioning from, let's say, the SciTac or the Thrustmaster, some of the, or even CH products, right? If you're transitioning from them older rudder pedals, these are next generation. These are light years ahead, purely from the build quality, the weight, the movements, and also the options you have in terms of really dialing in comfortable and accurate rudder pedals, right? If you're already using something up the road, be it from Wind Control, be it from, you know, Thrustmaster, what I like about these is the ability of the damper, and they are so very smooth. I mean, they are so very smooth, and they're very adjustable, you know, and they kind of all work. I mean, if you're using MOZA, it's all part of their little ecosystem, and I like the way you can daisy chain these using data cables, right? Them fellas, instead of having to use up precious USB. Because think, you know, as FlySimware lads, we run low on USB, right? So I think they're very good from that regard. Very, very good. Do you know? But there's one last thing I want to show you, and that's going to be on the, whatchamacallit, that's on the software, because MOZA make very good software as well, right? So we'll ramble over here and check out this screen for our software. This one here. So on the usual kind of MOZA stuff, we can go into their MOZA cockpit. There's a firmware update, but I haven't disconnected, but just to kind of show you, get the idea from this screen here, right? What I'm showing you here is you have the usual stuff. You have calibrations, invert the axes, but you also have the mapping curve, right? And what they mean by the mapping curve is that kind of depends. Well, if you move your foot, you know, slightly forward, is it going to be normal linear travel, as in you're using the full axes, or do you want to use a small bit forward for very fine movements? But then if you move your foot a little bit more forward, it can multiply the control response. It's just giving you a way to be able to dial these things into what it is you're flying or your seating position. I mean, there's a lot of customizable options with this. There's no buttons, there's no clickable buttons. The axis you have an axis on your toe brake on both sides, and then you have an axis on your yaw. That's what it is, right? Am I going to be using them? I'm already using them, Kieran. I'm already using them. I think they're very good. I went from Logitech rudders to Virpil Falcons. Night and day difference. There you go. There you go. Jake, 100%. Like, I think the point is, if you already have decent rudder pedals, and like, to be fair to MOZA, they're entering rudder pedals. They're not necessarily trying to compete with those within, you know, a similar field. They're just giving you better options on it. But as new rudder pedals, I mean, if you're going from something, if you go from no rudder pedals, or you're using something like Thrustmaster or SciTac on the lower entry level side, these, I highly recommend them, right? Especially for the price. They're €100 and odd cheaper than the TPR rudder pedals, which are very, very good. I mean, they're still bolted down here below me, right? These are still very, very good. But I gotta say, the MOZA stuff, it's been excellent, absolutely excellent. Plus, everything all lives within its ecosystem. And we can mess around with presets in here as well. I mean, you have presets for rudder pedals now, right? Now, some folks are saying, you know, they'd love force feedback rudder pedals. And yeah, absolutely. But you don't necessarily feel a lot of force in rudder pedals. You feel shakes and bumps and whatnot. And maybe a bit of resistance because you have to kind of push a little bit harder. By and large, you know, flying, you feel a little bit, but the rudder pedals, it's more the platform you're going to get them. You know what I mean? But you can absolutely add presets in this as well. So once you get your hardware set up and it's on the ground, you set it and you forget it, you can actually get into your presets. And just like what I've done with the other MOZA stuff when it came to the AB6, you know, I've already put in presets there for a Cessna, a brand new one or a very old one. And the difference between them is the brand new one, the controls are tight, they're very responsive. The older preset, well, the controls are loose. You know, those cables feel loose. They don't exactly bite straight away. You can do the very same thing with presets on these rudder controls. You can create a preset to say, no, you actually have to exert more and more force or less, depending on what it is you're going to do. Multi-engine with an engine failure will give you quite the workout. With force feedback, yes. That's possibly one of its main use cases, Scott. Multi-engine. And feeling, I suppose the other thing force feedback would give you, of course, is the feeling of yaw, the yawing motion, especially for the rudder. Because you'll feel it, the pedals will move in a certain direction. Say, I need to add a bit of trim to counteract that. So yes, that absolutely. You know. If you have the Trustmaster, then probably not a necessity. I don't think so, Roy. If you have the Trustmaster TPRs, honestly, unless you wanted to buy a second set of pedals or you want to focus on helicopters, maybe, right? But I mean, if you already have, it's a hard decision to say, you know, these are going to replace your current rudder pedals. They're not marketed at that. MOZA could have went down the road and said, well, look, these are force feedback. Now you're going to consider it, right? So I don't think they're trying to achieve that. I think they're trying to achieve, okay, you're going to progress now to rudder pedals. And you might be asking, you know, how important are rudder pedals? Once you start picking up gear, joysticks, HOTAS, yokes, right? Where do rudder pedals come in on that list? For me, relatively soon, right? As in, if you have a HOTAS first, you need something to control the airplane. Rudder pedals tend to follow on, right? So, why is flight sim hardware so far behind sim racing hardware? Harpoon? Well, it's getting closer. I mean, we have force feedback already with joysticks and yokes. But the reason why Harpoon, it was never as popular. You look at sim racing, that market, it's freaking huge, man. It's huge. Flight simmers, it's only starting to build up now, you know? With the way they designed the damper to work, force feedback add-on isn't out of the realms of possibility. Potentially, yes. It wouldn't take a genius to figure out, can I put in some sort of a motorized mechanism? I agree. Now, just on that, when it comes to the damper, so this is the price, right? This is euros, €369. All right. And they're sold out on MOZA's EU shop. So you pre-order. And they go down through what they are. The damper, the optional damper, is interesting. So if we go in here and have a look at this. So this is $70. And that's where it mounts to on the pedals, which we've seen, right? So you get a good idea of what's going on and what it's doing. And basically it's like a hydraulic ram, right? But it allows you to fine-tune resistance to match aircraft type, from helis to heavy airliners, delivering enhanced realism and immersion. So I think it was a good idea that they had this as a separate option. If you were to ask me, Murph, do I need to buy that damper straight away? My response, no. If you want to buy the pedals first, see how you get on with them. You might be happy enough with them. You could be delighted. And then you can pick up the damper after. If you ask me, Murph, I want the best experience with these pedals and control, well, then get the damper with them. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's third-party mods you can get for damper kits for the likes of the MFGs, for the TPRs. They're already out there, and they are very, very good. I think, yeah, I mean, if they were to bolt on some sort of force feedback, wouldn't that be enough? Well, wouldn't that be nuts? Murph, do you have to create profiles for the throttle box, flight stick, and pedals? No, you can, but no. I'd recommend having different profiles, you know. Right, Muse fan, that's actually a very good question and a very good point to raise. Captain Canada's here. You're coming to... brilliant. Captain Canada, welcome in, buddy. FS weekend confirmed. Huzzah! There will be a beverage, my dude. And well, we have to catch up. It's been a minute. Hope you're well, man. Great to see you. Yeah, Muse, good point. So here's one for you, lads. And I think this is important. Because you might be wondering, buying directly from MOZA, which you can. However, I want you to find this. MOZA have now put out a where to buy. Because MOZA obviously give retailers equipment as well. So I think as an option, if you want to buy from a retailer as opposed to buying directly through MOZA, well, they have a list here, right? Are we staying in Lelystad, Amsterdam? Out the road from Lelystad. It's one stop before Lelystad or Lelystad, Captain Canada. Are you in Amsterdam? But yeah, like... The sheer amount of orders MOZA would have got, like they weren't expecting it. They just didn't expect it. That's why they ran out of stuff, and that's why there's now delays to shipping. But if you're buying again, I'd recommend have a look at these because you can check with these lads straight away. Are these in stock? So there's nothing for Ireland yet. But if you go into the UK, you know you've these other overclockers, for example. They'll tell you straight away if something's in stock. Yeah. So, for example, now you can't get the rudder pedals, but you can get other bits and stuff. Maybe you can't get the rudder pedals. I don't see them. But maybe use that. You know what I mean? You're staying in Amsterdam, 45-minute train. Brilliant. So we're staying in a place one stop before you get to Lelystad. But brilliant. There will be pints. We get in on Friday, I think. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Man, that's a lot. Is this your first time coming to an FS weekend? Jesus. Do you get hit with imports now from the UK? You might do. Yeah, you might do. I'm only looking at a UK shop. Buy from somewhere in Germany. If you're in, you know, we'd buy probably from Germany. Or I'm pretty sure we can buy from the Netherlands. Does Jeremy do these? No, not yet. You know, Sim Motion. Go into here. Like they might have them, right? And they'll tell you if it just means, you know, you have the option. And like it's MOZA telling us this. It's on their website. Hey, buy from where can you buy these? You know what I mean? So yeah, have a look at that website. Save that website because if you're ever buying stuff from MOZA as well, have a look at it. Now, as Mew says, it wasn't just a delay; it was the non-existent communication. Yeah, I get that. First time at FS weekend, second time in Amsterdam. Nice. FS weekend is good fun, man. It's a cool museum. They got some pretty cool stuff there. But yeah, looking forward to it, man. Come on, March. Up you devil you. Alternate is also a good shop. Yeah. Great comparison product would be the MFG rudders. Yeah. The MFG crosswinds. Yeah. But yeah, so that's it. As again, lads, you know, to be crystal clear on it. You know, I'm not here to sell you the gear. You know, I'm just not. You know, if I can provide the information, if I can answer the questions that you guys have, well, that's my job done, I think. You know, MOZA don't need a Murph to sell you the gear. If I like the gear, I'll say, yeah, I think it's very good. If I don't like the gear, well, I'll either not show it, or if I need to warn you, to say, don't use that. You know what I mean? That's how this gig works. You better make way for yeah. We were going to, come here, Captain Canada. You'll have to play one of the lads in pool. He's so good, in fact, he can beat himself at a game of pool. There's loads of pool out there. And, you know, foosball, football tables, big into that. You're in from Wednesday to Monday. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we get in on Friday. I think we're gone Sunday. So, yeah, it should be fun. So anyway, lads, that's the story. That's the crack. We covered a fair bit of ground tonight with the sim, with the news, a load of stuff from SayIntentions, which has been awesome fun, and of course the MOZA MRP, the new rudder pedals from MOZA. And well, hopefully, if you have any questions, let me know. And if there's anything else you'd like to see, like I can sit here and fly with them, but you're only looking at me feet move. I thought, you know, that will pass a boundary, I think, that you won't ever come back. You know, so don't buy from the UK, you'll end up paying taxes, says Kieran. Okay, yeah, you probably get import taxes. But at least you have the option to do it. If say, for example, they were in stock in the UK and you don't mind spending an extra, 40 quid import tax, I'm sure that's your call, your call. But yeah, the MOZAs, as I say, lads, they're very they're a mad design. They're as heavy as a devil. Like these things are so heavy. But I gotta say, man, I really like them. I think, from an engineering perspective, would I have changed anything with them?
Jesus.
The only thing I would have changed is the length of the damper. That's the only thing I would have changed, because think about it. If you're putting these up against a wall, the damper, it goes past it by a couple of mil, But it's very good. And they're very, they're pretty cool. If you see them at an event, try them out at an event. And the next time we have an event, I'll bring them with me as well, and you can try them out there. They are heavy. They don't really slip. I haven't noticed them sliding on the ground. So you're not worried about kind of sticking them to the ground. You tighten up the damper and whatnot. Yeah, it'll get a little bit tight. But apart from that, it should be grand. Should be grand, But lads, that's going to do it for tonight. I want to thank you all so very much indeed for tuning in, spending your time with me, and well, I hope you found this evening's show informative and interesting, perhaps even. And yeah, I thought for a second there was a yoke. Wait, what? Right? I'd be selling me TPRs. Ailerons, good to see you. Are you selling them like to get away from it, or are you selling them to get these? Right? Good to see you, Ailerons. Welcome in, buddy. How's the hand? But right, lads, we're back tomorrow morning, 1100 Zulu. We're going to be back with Navigraph Academy, our first solo flight, and then we're going to start prepping up for our VATSIM flight tomorrow evening, which we're flying out of San Francisco, heading down to Los Angeles. So very, very much looking forward to that. Massive thanks for everyone for tuning in, for all the subs, all the follows, all the likes, and all the raids. Thank you all so very, very much indeed. It means the world to me, your support, so thank you very, very much. Shout out to MOZA for sending me out these so you guys could get a look at them, my perspective on them. Who else now? What else did we do tonight? I bought the Learjet, I bought the Carenado, and I bought the Mt Everest. So yeah, stepping away. Okay, ailerons. Yeah, sure, pop it up if you want over on Discord if someone wants to grab it. Who's that? Sir. No, who's that? I can tell you a story about that. We'll tell you some other night though. So right, thank you all so very much indeed. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow at 1100 Zulu. Till then, you take care. Don't hit me with a frying pan. Oh, jeez. This is here. You just hit me with a frying pan.
Make a noise.
Of course I made a noise. You hit me with a frying pan in my head.
Turn around.
Why would you hit me with a frying? Don't hit me again. Ah! Yes, it makes a noise. You're hitting me with a frying pan. Annalisa, did you put her up to that? Jesus, me head. Oh, who hit someone? I mean, come on. Who hit someone with a frying pan, for God's sake? Oh, very hollow sounding. What? What are you talking about, hollow sounding? Did you see what happened to Matty Lonesome? Oh, that was brilliant. Did you see him? Matty, are you okay? Are you okay, Matty? Oh, Jesus. Do you know? Don't hit me with a frying pan. Oh, jeez! This is here! You just hit me with a frying pan!
Make a noise.
Of course I made a noise! You hit me with a frying pan in my head!
Turn around.
Why would you hit me with a frying... Don't hit me again! Ah! Yes, it makes a noise! You're hitting me with a frying pan! Annalisa, did you put her up to that? Jesus, me head!